Raider Nation, what's going on? It's good to be back. Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And for those that do not know, yes, it is my birthday. Urza Alvarado, bang! What's up, y'all? It's good to be back. Coming up here on today's show, we have a jam-packed one, man. I was sitting down earlier last night. My flight just came in. Had an amazing vacation. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I know I missed a lot over the past week. I've been trying to do my best to stay up to date on everything. But what we're going to be talking about here on today's show is we're going to get into the latest around Jacobson, whether or not the Raiders should franchise tag him or they shouldn't tag him. And I'll give you my answer of everything that I heard from Media Week at the Super Bowl. I sat down, I talked with Jeremy Fowler. I'll give you some updates of some of the stuff that he talked to me about and just a lot of the things that I heard. So here's today's deal, okay? Since today is my birthday,
he's a jolly good fellow.
I was gonna hold off.
He's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good Raider that nobody can deny.
Urza, I appreciate you, man, very, very much to the 500 people that are tuned in right now. I'm rocking my jersey that I got from Taino Raider. I got into work today. I saw a package on my table. I was supposed to wait until I went live, which that's not on me. It's not on Chugs either. Jeremy was doing some other work. It was really, I guess, horrible timing. So I opened up the jersey, and I was like, man, I got to wear this thing on today's show. But yes, it is my birthday. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And if you want a shout-out here on today's show, spam HBD. And here's the thing. I don't usually drink on Tuesdays.
You only turned 45 once.
Yeah, I'm not quite wasted and graffled yet, but I do definitely feel a little bit older. I mean, especially over the past 2 weeks. I've been in Vegas. I went on vacation. It's been a freaking hell of a past 2 weeks.
Happy birthday.
But every time somebody bangs today, I'm going to do a beer bong. And today's deal of the day, because what I want to try to do is the deal of the day is this. Every single time somebody bangs, I'm going to count it as 2 for February. So if you've been following along with our February bang race, or if you're like, Mitch, I want to get into this February bang race, every time somebody bangs today, I'm going to count it as 2 going into the entire year. And remember, whoever ends up being the MVP at the end of February, we're going to send you guys home a Raiders Report February bang jersey. But you know what? I wanted to go back to my old days. So every time somebody wishes me a happy birthday, like G Raider, Isaac, I appreciate you. I'll take a sip to that, and let's do a cheers. Every 20, we're going to do a fireball shot. Every hundo, I will do a beer bong, and it's going to count as 2 towards February. So I know I already owe you 1. What up, Isaac? How was Paris, Mitch? Paris was an amazing time. I mean, I think it's one of those things. Paris during Valentine's Day was definitely a bucket item that I wanted to be able to do. It was something that Alex wanted to do, and when I asked Alex out 4 years ago, which was on leap year, February 29th, she said on the 4th year, which will be this year, we have to do something big. So I'm not going to lie to y'all. I've been saving up for this trip for a long time. It was really fun to be able to do, see the Eiffel Tower. We did a lot of food, a lot of drinking, and just being able to explore an unbelievable city with Alex was a lot of great memes. A lot of great memes.
Speaking of unbelievable cities, could you imagine going to an unbelievable city and then opening up the Gametime app and being able to go to, events in that area, like concerts, comedy shows,
I like it.
Sporting events.
I like it.
That would be amazing if there was an app that you could just open and it could show you all the amazing live events and you could buy tickets to these amazing shows. Oh, wait, there is, and it's called Gametime.
So, Nation, download the Gametime app. Get $20 off with code RaidersChat. Forget planning months in advance. Like my fiance, Alex, this might not be the great app for her. She plans months in advance. But if you're like me and you're kind of like, all right, I'm not doing anything this weekend, let's make some plans. Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and a whole lot more. It is the perfect app for buying tickets when you're planning on visiting Las Vegas. So, Nation, terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code RaidersChat for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I was curious, of which I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt now. I wonder if Gametime's even in Paris. You know what I mean? Like, because when we were in Vegas, we were surfing it a lot. We were like, all right, could we do something tonight?
That's how I got to see Tommy Seggs.
I know. I'm not gonna lie. Dad, I'm just calling you out here. The reason why I didn't go see Tom Segura is because I was like, my dad's flight's going to be coming in. I couldn't go. And then when I saw Jeremy, he's like, dude, it was a hell of an event.
Shane Gillis opened.
Ah, man, it would have been a lot of fun. So
speaking of Shane Gillis opening, what are you more excited for? Free agency or the draft?
I mean, that is the cleanest segue. That might have been better than the game time
Oh,
segue.
yeah. Type F for free agency, type D for draft.
Yes. So we're going to talk a lot about free agency, not so much about the draft today. Our also main topic is going to be around Jacobs because that whole, like, whether or not they can franchise tag him starts today and it goes until March 5th. What up, Taino?
Also, technically you are wearing his jersey. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. Technically you are wearing Taino's jersey.
Ooh, boy. I don't know if I got a boot in me. How about this? If he sends it in, you got to do the boot. Jeremy's like, all right, maybe you could persuade me.
That's my birthday present to you.
But what are you more excited for, free agency or the draft? Let me know down below. Juan Hernandez says he's more excited for free agency. I do anticipate the Raiders to be very aggressive this offseason. I know when I was away, the Raiders ended up, or not the Raiders, but Jimmy Garoppolo, what? What does it say now? The nation's jersey.
No. From Richie.
Uh-oh. Where is he? I don't even see him now. He's gone. What did he say?
He said, happy birthday, MMMM.
Oh, yeah? Hey.
Which
Dad.
I learned what it was.
Yeah, now you know what it means. I'll never forget when all my friends from high school were like, bro, why did your dad go, It'll always stick with me. For those that don't know, anytime you see MMMM in the chat from my dad, it stands for my main man, Mitch. So in case anybody's ever wondering, that's what it stands for. And
Happy
yes,
birthday.
Dave S., there was some news that literally just happened right before we went live. The Raiders are hiring former Dolphins head coach Joe Philbin as their new senior offensive assistant. We'll talk a little bit about him. We'll talk a little bit about a lot of the coaching hirings that the Raiders have had over the past week because while I was away, everyone was like, Mitch, what do you think about this hiring? What do you think about this hiring? And I'll tell you today.
Are we going to talk about Josh Jacobs on the show?
Oh, we're going to talk about Josh Jacobs a whole lot.
Well, I have this question lined up. No coincidence at all. Will the Raiders franchise tag Josh Jacobs? Yes or no? Yes,
Isaac G. Raider, cheers to you guys.
I did try to hold it down. I went and made a video whenever Jimmy G got popped for PEDs.
I mean, imagine taking PEDs and playing the way Jimmy Garoppolo did.
I mean,
if he didn't, I'm more concerned.
That's like using Rex MD and lasting 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's like taking steroids and literally not going to the gym and just losing an unbelievable amount of weight. It's like, yeah, dude, when I saw that news, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of happy about it just from the simple fact of I knew that meant the Raiders weren't going to have to pay his guaranteed money. Like, he's still going to be a post-June 1st cut, like, casualty. But instead of the Raiders saving, I don't know, it was like 17 mil post-June 1st, now the Raiders are going to be able to save 24. So they end up in total saving about $11.25 million.
I loved the tweets coming out from NFL media heads. Adam Schefter was like, now this means Jimmy Garoppolo will likely be cut.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know where you've been.
Dude,
he was going to get cut a month ago.
He was never going to make this roster. And, I mean, when you bench a player, which they benched Jimmy G, it was kind of like the exact same scenario that you saw the year before with Derek Carr, where it's like, bro, you cannot put him out on the field because if he ends up getting injured, then you're going to be tied down his contract. I will say now, like, if he would have played, got hurt, and then he would have got hit with the PEDs, like, the Raiders are still good then. But will Josh Jacobs get the franchise tag, yes or no? I'm having a little deja vu. I feel like we talked about this all last season, and it was, we obviously knew how it went last year. Could this year be a little bit different, though, with Antonio Pierce? Maybe Jacobs understands that he's not going to get a big-time deal like he thought last year coming off the season where he had over 2,000 total yards. So today, I'll tell you why it makes sense for the Raiders to tag him, why it doesn't make sense for the Raiders to tag him, and then ultimately whether or not they will do it. So give me a yes, give me a no. I'm seeing Cloud, Dave S., Chris, what up, y'all? Sienna, I see nothing, and I mean nothing but no's down below. Dave S. said he's going to be gone. We got Luis Rodriguez. I appreciate you. Alex S. Lesbo.
Luis, I did see it.
What? What happened?
Luis sent a video to me and you of a guy just standing at the edge of the lake singing the national anthem.
What does that mean?
He was basically saying, like, Jeremy needs to do something like this because I sing on the show.
Oh.
And it's just a guy just belting the national anthem before these guys go on a fishing trip.
Yeah, I got a few interesting DMs while I was in Paris. I'm not going to lie.
I was doing some extracurriculars when Luis sent that, and I got a good laugh.
Yeah? Okay, I got you. What up, Isaac? Did you guys get to meet AOC and AP the Friday and Saturday before the Super Bowl? They had meet and greets. No, I did not get to meet either AOC or Antonio Pierce. To be honest with you, we were pretty tied down most of the entire week. Like, we'll talk about if you guys want to talk about anything from Media Week, because I know I haven't been live since we've been there. To me, like, the things that always got brought up to me, Jaden Daniels was the number one talking point amongst everything Raiders related, and it was not close. I'd say the second thing that people talked about the most was, in fact, well, minus Chad Johnson. I talked to Chad's wife and his agent, and they were like, yeah, that whole thing was a scam, which now that we know. And then the other big talking point was Jacob. So I'll give you some of the notes that Fowler gave me because, the craziest part about Media Week was the amount of people that were there. Like, I'm not kidding you. At any point, if you saw somebody walking around, you go up to him, you talk to him for a little bit, and I had the opportunity to talk to Fowler because, Ian Rappaport's like this big. Most of, the NFL insiders are like this big. I couldn't believe how tiny they were. And then there's Fowler.
Yeah, Jeremy Fowler's
6'4".
6'3".
He was gigantic. He also had a Mets hat on. So I was like, all right, that's my guy right there. But just going up, talking to all these different people, I'll kind of get into some of the stuff that we talked about today.
Talk to Kenny Mayne for just a second because I didn't realize some of these guys are a lot older than you think.
Yeah.
Kenny Mayne, I saw him at the very end on Thursday. He was struggling, man. He was so ready to leave and go lay down. He was like, I am worn out. It's good to meet you, but I got to go. And I was like, dude, I get it. You look tired.
Go get some Pedialyte, man.
He was not having it.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, the amount of people, I was telling him, what?
Keith Lee.
Oh, Keith Lee. We ran into Keith Lee. I met Bobby Flay. That was insane. But there was one time I was walking down Media Row, and it was literally Deion Sanders, Stephen A. Smith, and The Rock. It was that was a 30-second stretch of just walking in because at Media Row there's obviously a lot, and I mean a lot of very well-known people, but you could tell when somebody walked in that room that was way more famous.
Deion.
Everybody was there, cameras, lights. Yeah, when Deion walked in, everybody knew.
It was Deion.
I'd say The Rock
Sanders
was the most famous though.
I would say The Rock, then Deion. Then probably next, with the biggest entourage around him, was probably C.J. Stroud and Max Crosby. They had a good amount of people around him.
Yeah, see, I'd say Deion. Stephen A. had a pretty good entourage.
Stephen A. had a good one around him. Who else?
Off top of my head, that was already feels like so long ago.
Yeah.
That already feels like so long ago, man.
Carlos.
Hey, Mitch, it's also my birthday, too. It's funny. Actually, I remember that, Carlos, because you tell me every year.
Dude.
Want to wish you a happy birthday, and let's go Raiders!
You and Carlos's parents, both.
Yeah, at the same time. Hopefully it wasn't.
At the same damn time.
Carlos, are you a 93 baby? Because then I got some asking for my parents. Did you guys ever meet a Mr. and Mrs. Garcia?
I'm super disappointed that Chugs didn't take over the show while you, Mitch, was gone.
He made a few videos.
I made a couple videos. I was thinking about going live, but this is believe it or not, right after the Super Bowl, really hot time for a lot of us to take some vacation.
Yeah.
So I was on a couple other live shows. I did our Bears show a couple times live because that producer's out for the week.
Yep.
A couple other shows I was having to help. So I thought I would have a little bit of a lighter load while Mitch's while Mitch was gone. But
my load can be rather heavy.
The load was a lot bigger than I thought.
Yep.
Too much to swallow.
No, I do think, though, one of these things is, like Jeremy said, I mean, it's why I took my vacation time, right? During the football season, and, I mean, during most of the offseason, we're pumping out more content than I think anybody else out there, and you all have, or not all have, but I'm sure most of you guys have maybe a significant other, maybe, even kids or somebody that deserves a lot of your time, and for the most part, I always put Raider Nation, the show, that always comes first, and after the Super Bowl was the one time that I knew, all right, I'm going to be able to do something special for Alex, so that's what we ended up doing.
Rebel, I don't know.
Somebody keeps asking if this is a poncho. No, it's a jersey. It's It's an XXL, and I wear a medium, but I had to rep it for
Rebel
Taino.
said Marsh got buried. I don't know. I thought it was more of a tie. /
Buried what? If anybody got buried, I got buried in spew.
Rebel spewed a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Rebel. You scared me a little bit. I was like, he's going to ruin this
Afterwards,
stage.
he was good once he caught himself up. The 2 minutes after the boot, it was...
Well, again, chugging beers, and if it goes down the wrong pipe, you're in trouble. Rebel just kept just going. You know what I mean? He just kept going. What up, Carlos?
Marshall's actually right here. We were talking about it earlier.
How was meeting Jeremy Fowler first impressions?
The Rebel spew.
To be honest, very quiet. Like when I went up to Fowler, he was just like had his head down, and I'm sure like a lot of people were coming up to him. But to me, like I wasn't trying to go up to as many players. Like Raiders players, anytime I saw a Raiders player, went up to them, had an opportunity. There was a few people that thought I was a certain player's agent. I won't give you that name just because we were talking the whole time. But then, like going up to Fowler, he was super nice guy. Like I tried to talk to Ian Rappaport, and Rapp was an asshole. Like I tried to talk to Rapp not once but twice, and he totally blew me off and was just like a total jerk. Fowler took the 5-10 minutes. He sat down and talked to me. Also, I thought Matthew Berry was a really cool dude. I started doing fantasy football because of a guy like Matthew Berry and told him about that whole story. But Fowler was really, really cool, and he literally had a notes app. I was like, talk to me about the Raiders. And he goes, hang on, like, let me go into my notes. And just starts reading down his notes. And the top 2 things that he said were Raiders were like really want Jaden Daniels and they want to bring back Josh Jacobs. Like, he had a notes app for all 32 NFL teams, which I thought was pretty cool. Let's go to Beto. Happy birthday, Mitch. My son Israel's birthday is leap year, February 29th. Dude.
Hell yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Love Israel.
Is it honest question, is it like when you celebrate the birthday, do you celebrate it on the 28th or March 1st? Because Alex always hits me with, our anniversaries both days. I'm like, that's not quite how it works.
You get a 2-day.
A 2-day anniversary. I don't know, man. But hey, early happy birthday, Beto. Appreciate you, man. All right, we got a few more super chats to get to. I see Nico Laz, which Nico, shout out to you, man. Greatly appreciate the message, all the good stuff that you sent while I was on vacation. And there was times like throughout the trip where I was like, all right, let me catch up on Raiders a little bit, just trying to like go through, see the latest news and rumors, and then going through and seeing some of the messages that all of y'all have sent me.
Nico said, wish I could have been with y'all in Vegas. Happy birthday, Mitch. FKC, man, was so mad after the Super Bowl, but we're on to Cincinnati. Coolest Caleb you met in Vegas?
Celeb?
Oh.
Coolest celeb that I met in Vegas? I mean, for me personally, it was Bobby Flay. Like, I love to cook. Anybody that watches this show knows Chugs and I love to talk about food. Meeting Bobby Flay was, that was pretty surreal. When I say, like, actually meeting somebody, like, you walk by so many people, but actually, like, getting that time to, like, sit down.
Like, I walked right by Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, a bunch of wide receivers, which it was funny because at first I was like, are they all have the same agent? Like, what is going on? Bounty Paper Towels was giving them all, like, Letterman jackets.
Correct.
That was green that said B. And I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, they definitely stuck out. Like, you could tell which – they did it with a lot of wide receivers, too. Like, it was
there
definitely
were so many wide
guys.
receivers that had those.
But then even, like, when we went out, I want to say it was Friday or I think it was Saturday night.
With Marsh.
With Marsh. Him and I were sitting down, and we were at Resorts World, and we were like, oh, man, we should just go live on Instagram because I'm going to say in the 20 minutes that him and I were sitting down, and there was elite people watching. I'm not kidding you. I bet you 60 NFL players in a 15, 20-minute span just walked right by you.
Andre Johnson. There was Jordan Poyer. There was
Brandon Marshall. I saw Nate Hobbs was hanging out with Adam Plant Jr.
Our guy Darren Waller.
Yeah, Waller.
Waller was there.
I've seen Waller 3 times in Vegas, all 3 at Resorts World.
We said, should we go up to him? Or do you think he would be like, F off? I think you'd be like, F off.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't go up to Waller. I'll be real with you. There's not a chance in hell. Did I meet Guy Fieri? No, that was actually the number 1 person that I wanted to meet.
Yeah.
Crosby I ran into.
Oh, I ran into Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer before I went to their show. They were at Media Row.
Yeah, dude, it was cool. I mean,
I would say the coolest for me though was definitely Keith Lee.
Yeah, Keith Lee. I actually thought I ran into Keith Lee again. I was just a little bit too intoxicated.
I give it a 9 out of 10. A 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it wasn't him though. I was like, bro, Keith Lee, and I was like, that's not him at all.
And I was kicking myself, and I told Mitch this, that I should have given him my business card. I don't even know if the Raiders are his favorite team.
Maybe we could. I know some people that have a good contact with him because he's gone to some of their restaurants out in Vegas. So I'll see what I can do.
Oh!
Urza Alvarado! Bang! Urza came to party. Do you think we will trade up for Jaden Daniels? Also, what's the Fab bang list looking like? Drink up, Mitch. Gonna have to get you drunk today. Hey.
Well, Urza, you have 4 now.
Yeah,
today.
Urza, since today is double, Urza's done it twice. That means now Urza has 4 in total for this month. Urza's at 5, which means Abjan's in first place with 14. Trivan's got 10. Cameron Abbott at 4. Urza, you got 5. What?
Kevin said Jeremy just scared the hell out of me.
Oh. All right, man. I'm going to pour one up here for Urza. Much, much love out there to all of y'all. That's what it looks like. But do I think that we're going to trade up for Jaden Daniels? I'll just say this. Like, every single person, and I mean this, every single person that I talked to at Media Row said the Raiders are trying to trade up for Jaden Daniels. And if they do trade up, it's going to be Jaden. How doesn't mean it's going to happen. Obviously, also everyone was telling me like it's going to be very, very difficult in order for that to happen, which we already knew.
It's always been you, Jaden.
But there might be some other quarterbacks that creep up after the combine. Like one NFL guy that I was talking to said that, because you guys know I'm not a big fan of J.J. McCarthy, but he said like if there was one quarterback that could creep up into the top 5 that people aren't talking about was McCarthy. And that was just based on his intangibles. And I had one guy tell me, which I didn't love, that some NFL teams look at McCarthy the same way they look at Justin Herbert, where he's got the athletic ability. I think Herbert's far superior, and I didn't agree with it. But some NFL teams look at a young 21-year-old in McCarthy and go, I can build that guy. And that's going to happen. I just hope the Raiders aren't one of those teams.
I can fix him.
Oh, dude, I don't know. And that's the scariest thing out there, the I can fix him guy.
Oh.
What?
Oh, wow, margarine. I didn't know. That's wild. We did see Tyree Wilson at the airport. Did not do that to us, though. If that's true, that's wild.
What?
Margarine said Tyree pulled a gun on my friend at Tech.
Oh, man, I don't know if that's true.
Hope that's not true.
I'll tell you this, Tyree was one of the shyest, quiet. Now, it was 5 o'clock in the morning, which that I can understand. He didn't want to bang Raiders, but...
Yeah, we're there at 4:45 a.m.
Yep.
Dallas Love Field, which is wild that he took a flight that early, too. Like,
sure.
He couldn't have gotten a little bit of a later flight. Maybe he had something. But we saw him at the airport. Cool guy. Talked to him for a little bit. We were like, do you want to scream Raiders with us? And he looked around and he was like, not really.
Not really. Yeah, then I saw him again. We're able to get his agent's contact info, so we're going to try to link up, bring him into the studio, because where he's based is actually very close to where we are based here in Dallas. So we might be able to get Tyree, though. I will say this. He's one of those people that you see how big guys are on a football field, then you stand next to him. I mean, the only other person that I was surprised on how big they were was Crosby. Like, I've actually never met Crosby in person, so being able to meet him out in Vegas was cool. But that's another guy. Like, when you see just how massive of a human being they are, like, I thought standing next to Crosby, I thought Crosby was bigger than Tyree Wilson.
Yeah.
Like, just based on, like, the body size. Like, Wilson was a giant, though, because Jeremy, we're walking through TSA, and Jeremy's like, yo, I think that's Tyree Wilson. And I'm like, that's 100% Tyree Wilson. Because, again, when you see somebody that big, they stick out.
I mean, yeah, there's all these, normal-sized people, and then one dude who's 6'6" in the line, and you're like, that might be somebody.
That guy looks different. The only other player that I'd say is definitely bigger is Colton Miller. Colton Miller is much bigger than Tyree Wilson, much bigger than Max Crosby. He's the biggest guy on the Raiders.
Hellcat.
What up, Hellcat? Happy birthday, Mitchie. How old? Who you want as the Raiders quarterback? I am.
Guess.
I mean, all right. There should be most people should know how old I am.
How old do you think Mitchell Renz is?
It's kind of crazy. Though, you want to hear something really crazy? We are 14 minutes away from when I was born.
Why don't we do a reenactment?
A reenactment. I can try to squeeze my head through this burbonga.
I'll just get a bunch of lotion and put it all over a trash bag, and we'll split it, and you'll just...
Only if Allie holds it. No. I mean, I'm obviously hoping for Jaden Daniels. Like, to me, that's the quarterback that I know the Raiders want the most. The fact that when they were interviewing offensive coordinators, they were bringing up Jaden Daniels in those conversations. Or maybe not just bringing him up, but we're like, all right, asking coordinator questions in regards to how they thought they were going to be able to fit with Jaden. And I do think that is an important thing to think about. So to me, Jaden Daniels is the number one option that I want the Raiders to get. And I know it's going to cost a lot, but quite frankly, I do not care. I need a quarterback. I want a quarterback that is simply a difference maker. Is Jaden a lock to be a pick? No, of course he's not. But at the same time, you got to have that competitive advantage to go out there and say, we need a difference maker, because there is not another difference maker in free agents here. You're going to pay Kirk Cousins $40 million a year? Are you going to...
No!
I mean, you might be able to get Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson to me is just... it'd be hard to root for Wilson. I'm not going to lie to y'all. It would be. All right, y'all, if you want to get in our 50-50 raffle, we are going to do one for the end of today's show. It is $20 to enter at Mitchell Renz 365. And good luck to everybody. I already got one person in, Luis Rodriguez. I just saw it. You in. Let's go to Wrong Way. Happy birthday, Mitch. Congratulations on all the success. What is the max first you trade up to get the top three quarterback, or give an example of the most you give away for the top three? I would say this, and I've made a few trades before, which from what I've talked about, and I brought this up on a show that I did at Media Row, I believe it's going to end up costing teams like your first three picks this year, so it would be 13, 44, 77, 3 first-round picks next year, and then also 2 starting caliber players. Because when I talked to Fowler, he said it's going to be more than it's ever been before. If you're able to get up to 3 or 4, then that might change it a little bit. But
going to 1 or 2?
Going to 1 or 2 is going to cost like 3 firsts and 2 starting caliber players plus like 2 seconds, like adding into all of that. What could get interesting is one of the things that was also being discussed at Media Row was that it's not a lock that top 3 quarterbacks get picked the first 3, because everyone thinks that it's going to happen. However, some teams view Marvin Harrison Jr. as this like can't miss type of prospect, and that teams value him so much because they look at him and say, hey, that can be one of the best receivers in the NFL for the next 12 years. Like, I'm telling you.
The one good thing about, me producing other shows and being, on other shows here at Chat Sports is I kind of hear through the grapevine what's going on other team channels, what other fans are saying. A lot of Bears fans are saying, hey, the Patriots are really interested in Justin Fields. Could they just select Marvin Harrison at 3 and trade their second for Justin Fields?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
A lot. That's the hot rumor going around Bears fans, Bears Twitter, is that the Patriots really like Justin Fields. They're interested in trading their second or third round pick for him, and then they go ahead and select Marvin Harrison, who I've said many a times is the best player in the draft this year, is the most bust-proof player. Pause.
I mean, no, honestly, if you were to tell me, Mitch, out of all the players in this year's draft, which one do you think is the biggest lock to be a Pro Bowler almost every year that he plays? I would say it's Marvin Harrison Jr.
And
Lord Cameron Abbott. Bang! Oh, man. Lord Cameron Abbott. What's up, brother?
I hope we don't get J.J. McCarthy. I'd be fine if we got Bo Nix in the second round. Jaden Daniels would be who I want if we trade up. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I mean, Mitch is the same sentiment as you. He does not want JJ. If he's trading up, he'd really like to get Jaden Daniels, even though If they traded up and got Drake May, I don't think you'd be too upset.
I wouldn't be mad at that at all. Like, to be frank with you, I would not be mad if the Raiders went out and got Caleb Williams, Drake May, or if they ended up getting Jaden Daniels. I don't think that Caleb Williams is going to be coming to the Raiders despite the quarterback coach that they just ended up hiring, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But, like, at the end of the day, I don't want somebody that I don't view as ever having that potential to be a top 10 quarterback. Like, McCarthy to me is going to be a very mid QB. Like, he could end up being a solid quarterback on certain teams, but he's mid to me. Like,
he's mid.
He doesn't do anything spectacular. Yeah, he's young. Yeah, he's a winner. But if you were to put McCarthy on, like, who's a more pro-ready quarterback, Quinn Ewers or J.J. McCarthy? I might honestly argue Quinn Ewers. Like, and I don't even like Quinn Ewers all that much. If you put McCarthy on any other college football team and you ask him to be the guy, and if you're going to draft a quarterback in round 1, you're asking him to be the guy. I just don't see how it works. Like Spencer Rattler in round 3 or McCarthy in round 1, I'll take Spencer Rattler in round 3 every single day of the week. I don't even know what's happening. Another one! Urza Alvarado! Bang!
Can I have my sister Lillian Venmo? Of course you can. Drink up Kirk Cousins seems expensive. Also coming out of injury. That is true. Of course, Urza, you can have your sister Venmo in for the 50-50 raffle at Mitchell Renz 365. Make sure it is Mitchell with 2 L's. There's a scammer out there.
We've
reported him a ton. Don't know if he's been taken to a Siberian prison yet.
I don't know.
But we shall see.
I do not know.
50-50 raffle.
Right now,
$20.
the people that are in, Luis, Cameron, Randall Carter, and Jamari is in 3 times. So that means, as it stands right now, winner would go home with $60. What up, Carlos? You see Florio's report about AP Mahomes' comments. I'll be honest, I don't really follow Florio all that much. I try not to. But have I seen his comments? No. Have I seen what Antonio Pierce said about Patrick Mahomes getting the Michael Jordan treatment? Yes. I don't love it. And the only reason why I don't love it is because, to me, that's one of those things that it's a lot easier said than done. Like, to me...
Oh, well, I don't mind that part at all. I think that's something you keep in the locker room because now the refs are going to be looking so intently whenever the Raiders play the Chiefs now that if Max Crosby breathes on Patrick Mahomes, I guarantee you there will be 2 personal fouls in the first game, deservedly or not, against the Raiders against the Chiefs this next year. I would put, if there was a prize picks for more or less than 2.5 personal fouls against the Raiders when they play the Chiefs, I would be slamming them more.
And I mean, like, that's the other part of it where, like, again, you're talking about basketball, Pistons, Michael Jordan. You can't play that style of basketball anymore. Just like you can't play the style of football that the Raiders used to play in it, right? Like people are all the time, they're like, oh, I wish the Raiders would play the way that they did back in the 70s and 80s. No, you don't. No, you don't. That would never work. It would never work. Like,
and I don't mind it as much of like, hey,
you're right though. You put it in the locker room.
I don't mind them saying that, like, hey, we got to get a hat on Mahomes. I don't care. You got to lay him out. That's fine, like, behind the scenes and stuff. You saying that out loud and you putting that in the public, I don't think that helps you at all.
I mean, I think it brings more attention where if I'm a ref now, I go, and if I'm Andy Reid, if I'm Kansas City, I go, hey, do you remember these comments? Like, they're going to be trying to hit him even more.
Yeah.
Even more.
Patrick, happy birthday, Mitch. Bro, Tay wants Kirk Cousins. He wants to win now. By the way, I've been watching Spencer Rattler, and I think that man has amazing potential to be the Raiders QB, and let's extend Josh Jacobs.
I'll say this. We'll first start with Kirk Cousins. I know Devontae Adams wants Kirk Cousins, and it's one of the reasons why when I put out a video probably about 3 weeks ago, I said that the Raiders' plan B is Cousins. Like, I know that if the Raiders believe that they are unable to trade up for Jaden Daniels,
they don't even have to go to CVS for it.
And everything that I have understood is the Raiders are going to try to do it at the combine.
Babe, I got you a Kirk Cousins. Can you just I'll watch you take it.
They're going to try to do it at the NFL Combine. So from February 29th to March 5th, if the Raiders trade up to number 1 or if they trade up into the top 3, that's when it's going to be. They want to try to do it before free agency. Like, they want to have a plan in place because they do want to have the opportunity to get Cousins. And now that you have an extra $11.25 million freed up from Jimmy Garoppolo, they also have that money which they can then allocate towards a free agency quarterback if they don't believe that they're going to be able to get into the top 3. So I've also watched a lot of Spencer Rattler from some of the Raiders players that I talked to that talked to the coaches that were at the Senior Bowl. They were very impressed with Spencer. The biggest red flag, and I even said it to Jeremy because Spencer was at Media Row. When I looked at him, he actually looked a lot bigger to me, broad-wise, than what I originally thought that he was.
He's a big broad.
Big broad. But at the same time, it's never been about Spencer Rattler's ability. It's always been about up here. If anybody's concerned about Caleb Williams, I don't see how you're not twice as concerned about Spencer Rattler. The difference is obviously where you're going to draft him, but he does have amazing potential. What up, Alan? Mitch, happy birthday, bro. I hope you have an awesome day. Miss you guys like crazy. Sundays aren't the same without Raiders football. No, I definitely feel that. Even this past week, it was amazing being on vacation. Don't get me wrong. It's actually the longest vacation I've ever had since working here at Chat Sports since 2017. I've never taken longer than a week off, and I basically had an entire week off. So, not being around, the Raiders, not being around the nation, I did. I miss it. I even found myself a few times, tuning into other people's live shows. I'm serious. I did. I also couldn't sleep. My sleep schedule was just all out of whack, but
you missed me.
I did miss you. I watched your videos.
Did you see whatever during the sub read I said Mitch might be eating baguettes right now, but I'm still breaking down Raiders content?
I watched every video that you put out. I was wondering what you were going to do. Again, I made a promise to Alex, so I was I'm going to try not to do any Raiders videos. She was let's just have a vacation, and when we get back, you can do whatever you want to do. I was tempted a few times because there was one day she got sick. She was not feeling well. I kind of told you. One random day, she busted out with 101 temp.
She's
and I was
sick, and you're I'm just going to go get a croissant. And she looks outside,
I was going to pull Petey. I was going to pull Petey.
Petey said he's going to the restroom, and he made a
video. I thought about it. I really did. But then at the same time, I was all right, I'm just going to go on vacation, and I'm going to enjoy it. All right, let's go to the next one. Rolling in here from Brax. What up, Brax? Appreciate you, man, for supporting the show. Much love. Lion VR, hire Chiefs O-line coach, no holding in 3 Super Bowls. I don't think that has to do with the Chiefs offensive line coach. I'll be honest with you.
Oh,
and
no.
The Raiders also have a good offensive line coach, which we'll talk about a little bit today. I don't think he's as good as Carmen Brasillo, though I do actually think his upside might be better considering of where he has been the past 2 or 3 seasons, but we will see. All right, I got a few more people that are in this race. So I see Jose Corona in.
Sharona.
Andreas Montano in. And then Lillian Meja Alvarado. So wait.
I'm gonna humble brag though. Also,
I'm listening.
My other video that I put out, the juicy trade rumors, 1 of 10.
All right, I think Lillian, if you're watching right now, I know what you just sent me on Venmo. Is that for the bang, or is that for you want 5 entries into our 50-50 raffle? If you can comment, let me know. If not, I'm just going to assume you want 1 entry, and then I'll put in, we'll do a bang. If not, you're going to get 5 entries, so I don't know. But coming up live here on today's show is, will the Raiders franchise tag Josh Jacobs? I'm going to go through and I'm going to give my coaches, front office grades that of all the new hires or promotions this offseason. Then we're going to get into some ESPN predictions. What are you laughing at now?
Whenever I put you full screen, it's
dude,
the Yoda's in the very middle.
Dude, I love the Yoda. I freaking love the Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
It's green, though, which I didn't really realize.
Actually,
it's kind of okay, though. What?
$5 right now, I'll send you if you can tell me what his actual name is.
Who, Yoda?
No, what's on your shirt right there in the middle? His real name isn't Baby Yoda.
You're going to send me $5.
If you can, don't look at the chat. Look at me right now. If you
I
can
have
tell me the
no
real
idea.
name.
Baby Yoda's real name.
Yes.
I have no idea. It's not Baby Yoda.
It's not Baby Yoda.
Dude. There's people in this chat that don't even know your real name. I have no idea what this
All right,
Yoda's...
you can look at the chat now.
Here's the thing. I still wouldn't know how to pronounce it. Grogu?
That's right.
Grogu. Spoiler, I've never watched Star Wars. I've said that before. That's not something new. I'll have to do it sooner or later.
Somebody said groggy. Anthony said grog. It was a typo.
Rebel, Marshall Green. That's actually good. I like that.
All right, let's get into our. First let's.
Yep, let's
to
get
this
into
last
our
super.
first segment, and then I also see Christian Moreno. You in? I'm gonna see if Lillian messaged me yet. I don't have anything from Lillian. So Lillian, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna. I was going to say, we're going to bang, but that's weird. Jose, if Kirk is an actual option, why not keep AOC? Both will get sacked under 3 seconds, LOL. We clearly need a mobile quarterback.
AOC is going to be on the team regardless. He's in a rookie contract. He's really cheap, and he's the best backup that the Raiders could get. He's not going anywhere. It's just going to be, who are they going to bring in to start over AOC is the question. AOC is not going anywhere.
Yeah, and nor should he, right? Like, you're going to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo. You're going to move on from Brian Hoyer. Like, you don't want to enter an entire offseason with no other quarterbacks. Yes, you still have Anthony Brown on a reserve contract, who is definitely more of a mobile quarterback, and I think somebody's just going to be on the practice squad for the majority of the year. But you're going to keep Aiden O'Connell, and the Raiders should keep Aiden O'Connell. Like, I think people think that I don't like AOC because I don't view him as a starter. I view Aiden O'Connell in the same caliber, and I said this when I was away last week. How you view Mac Jones is how you should view Aiden O'Connell. Like, if you told me right now I can get Mac Jones as a backup quarterback, I'm in. Do I want Mac Jones to be my starter? No, I don't.
Jose is saying he would rather just start AOC than sign Kirk.
Oh, see, that I can't get on board with. And I know what Aiden O'Connell is, but Kirk Cousins is just light years better than what Aiden is. Like Kirk is a reliable starting quarterback in the NFL. And I know some people view Aiden as a starter, but I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm going to say I talked to 6 or 7 Raiders players at Media Row. I'm not going to give you their names because I promised I wouldn't. Nobody wanted Aiden to be the starter. Like, they all viewed him as being a really, really nice guy, which he is a very nice guy. And the one player that I talked to literally said, it's not that we don't want Aiden to start. Like, he might be able to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, he might have a Kirk Cousins type of career where people are like, oh, this guy stinks. And then he just ends up 5, 6, 7 years down the road, end up being very good. However, though, they want to win right now. And Aiden's not the guy to help them win right now. Urza Alvarado.
Bang! He said Lillian, his sister, does want 5 entries, not
all right.
bang.
I just wanted to make sure. There's usually people that I can predict what they want.
Yeah.
But with new people, I never know. Michael!
Get a pick.
Bang! And the last name. Happy birthday, Mitch. I would like to see the Raiders draft Jaden Daniels. Go get your quarterback. Like, the other reason why I want the Raiders to go get Jaden Daniels is because if Antonio Pierce is going to be this head coach, it's like, I want my guys. And since AP has taken over as interim, he's been a big my guy type of dude, right? It worked with Jack Jones. If you're somebody that's like, I want my guys, then like, let's make it happen. If it's going to cost a lot, I get it. It's going to cost a lot. Make it happen. I trust AP enough to do it. Like, I trust, like, if I'm also Jaden Daniels, I go, the number one place that I want to play is for Antonio Pierce with Marvin Lewis. I also want to be in the perfect scenario. Like, that's where I want to go. Dude, if it ends up happening, I'm going to lose my shit, man. I really am.
He's losing his shit right now.
Who?
Trace Gerard.
Why?
Sidney Sweeney. SNL host next week.
Oh, no.
Hopefully she doesn't.
Random Saints Live on Saturday night.
Hopefully she doesn't get ostracized. Brax.
Mitch, if we draft Jaden, will you commit to a 24-hour live coverage show? The problem with that is, I think you're going to say the same thing.
We'll already be live for every single pick of the 2024 NFL Draft, Brax. We have our NFL Draft Party live here on the Raiders Report. We'll be breaking down every single pick. We'll be playing some fun games, passing the time, just having a fun draft party with all of Raider Nation. We'll be breaking down every single pick for the Las Vegas Raiders, plus every notable pick, probably all of the first rounders, and then second and third, and then as we get into the later rounds, just the notable guys on other teams. We'll kind of break down those picks here and there. But we'll be live the entire draft. I think over the 3-day period, we usually go live around 30 hours.
I'll say it's about 24 to 30 hours. I mean, it's a lot. I mean,
we go live probably 9 to 10 hours a day.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong there. And it's not a matter of willing to commit to it. It's just we also want to cover the draft and, just being transparent. Like, the number one show that is the most important at Chat Sports, not just Raiders Report, but at Chat Sports, is the NFL Draft. So when we do the NFL Draft, we take it very serious because, quite frankly, it was the show the days that helped us grow this company to what it is now. And then in terms of Ron's place in Addison, I have been there probably 3 or 4 times. The first time I went was, I'm going to say, back in 2019 is when I went. But
I love Addison.
I mean, if you want to go to Ron's place, is like it's kind of like two-sided. So on the one side is like a pull bar, which
is it on the side of Cookie Society or is it on the other side of the highway?
I don't know. All I know, Ron's place, the reason why I like it is because it reminds me of like Oakland and Las Vegas. The only reason why I say it is like where the pull side is like it's a bar where you can still like smoke inside, and it's kind of got that like hole in the wall, grungy like bar type of feel. Like, it's a really cool spot. And if you like to play darts, if you like to play pool, great spot. Then you go on the next side, and it's like your regular bar, like full bar, TVs everywhere. I usually go there for UFC fights, but maybe sometime this offseason, Chug's gonna have to pull up.
Isaac, happy birthday, LFG. It's a girl. Congrats.
Ah, man, that's awesome.
Congrats on the Raiderette.
Congratulations, Isaac. Did you know, I guess since you said it's a girl, you didn't know. Like, is it born already, or did you do a reveal? Because my cousin recently, they didn't want to know the gender, and it was just born. Like that, like, I don't know. I would want a gender reveal. Like, I'm a planner. Alex is definitely type A. Like, she would definitely want to know, like, ahead of time.
Oh, she would
want to know before I put it in. Is this going to be a boy or girl?
Jamari, happy birthday, Mitch. Ready for the offseason, cracking a cold one for you. Oh,
I'm not going to lie. I'm trying to keep up with all y'all right now, and you guys are kicking my ass here a little bit.
John Rodriguez, Anthony Brown on our practice squad. Low-key good signing.
Mm-hmm.
For a practice squad guy, he's an upper echelon practice squad guy, dealing with injuries here and there, but has played well for the Dallas Cowboys in the past.
See, the way I look at it as, I think it's a safe signing because Aiden O'Connell is this type of quarterback, right?
Oh, wait.
You're thinking of somebody else. I know.
I'm thinking of a different Anthony Brown.
That's why I was bringing this up. So, like, Aiden O'Connell is this type of quarterback, right, where he is your pocket passer. In terms of pure QB, Aiden's a better quarterback. Brown, he's more of your athletic quarterback.
That's the guy from Utah, right?
I
think I know who you're talking about now.
I know exactly. I don't know actually where he played college. I want to say Oregon. Like, that's what's popping out in my mind. But you have one guy who's much more athletic, and the other guy, he's just more of your pocket passer. Like, if I'm an NFL team in today's day and age, I would almost use Anthony Brown as more of the...
Yeah, you're right.
He played at Oregon, right? I would use him more as just like in case you're going up against a guy like a Lamar Jackson, you're going up against a guy like a Justin Fields, you put him in as your, QB for practice to just kind of get used to the ability to scramble.
Tomato.
It's all good. Hey, it happens. John, Mitch, if we don't re-sign JJ, I want Ekeler or Henry and draft Audric Estem from Notre Dame. So this is a running back that I have put a star next to just because I know Tom Telesco loves Notre Dame prospects.
Oh, he loves it so much.
I mean, he does. He loves Notre Dame prospects. It's been one of the notes that I have on Telesco. I will do more research on him. I'll also say this. You are going to hear me talk about Jacobs a lot today, and I'm also going to talk about Austin Ekeler or Derrick Henry today.
Let's go. Where the pets go.
What up, Shabazz? Kirk Cousins is not a bad option, in my opinion. He's not a bad option. Like, he's better than Derek Carr. He's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. He would be the best Raiders quarterback since DC in 2016. I mean, he's better than, like, the best year Derek Carr ever had, which was the 27 touchdowns, 9 interception year.
The only hard part is...
Oh, I know the reason why I don't want him.
Well, we don't know who he's going to be. He's hurt.
Well, like that, the other problem is for the Raiders is, do you want to really have another offseason where you have a quarterback, a veteran that can't work with your guys, that might not be able to practice until July, that you're still going to have to pay money towards? Like, I think Kirk is a good QB. I really do. But then he's got to learn a brand new system with brand new receivers, with a brand new offensive line, with a brand new running game, and you're not really going to get that to be able to get going until July. Like, Kirk says he's hopeful to be back in June, but if you're the Raiders and you pay a guy $40 million a year, even if you pay him $30 million a year, you're not going to risk putting him out there in June. You know what I'm saying?
Highlight Hendo in the chat. We got to meet him in
Vegas. What's up, Highlight?
What up, man?
Dude, it was, what I love about the meetups in Vegas.
Shit was a movie.
What I love about the meetups in Vegas is when you do finally get to put, like, faces to names. You know what I mean? I'll say this, Highlight Hendo, if I got a perm, that's how I hope my hair looked. That dude's got locks for days. I mean, it was just...
This might sound creepy. Highlight Hendo, you and your girl, if y'all do decide, it's going to be some very beautiful babies. With the curly hair, I'm just imagining a toddler with just like curly hair.
Imagine the sexiest chia pet you've ever seen. Like, dude's got curls for days. Like, when he would talk, the hair would bounce.
Dude, the volume, I loved it.
This guy could have been a commercial. Like, he walks down a street and Troy Polamalu goes. He makes Troy Polamalu jealous. That's the type of hair I'm talking about.
John Fort. And then after this, we're going to start our first segment talking about Josh Jacobs. Happy birthday, Mitch. I'm curious if we get what we want and JD is a bust. There is no guarantee he will be good. I see the nation crucifying the move after we lose years of draft picks. JD is skinny. Hey, congrats, man.
I mean, here's the thing, though, right? Every single pick, every single draft, I mean, everything's a risk, right? Like, I can sit up here and say that the Raiders fans, we've crucified Tyree Wilson, Alex Leatherwood, Jonathan Abram, Cleveland Ferrell, Henry Ruggs, Damon Arnett. Like, if the Raiders were a team that was notorious for hitting the first-round pick, and the other reason why I don't want to hear well, Mitch, we have a brand new head coach. Well, Mitch, we have a brand new GM. It's all things that I have said and that I have heard before. To me, the Raiders have not done a good job in round one. They haven't. If you think they have, I don't know what you've been watching. So my point is, every single player that you pick is a risk. However, though, if Antonio Pierce, who I think thus far, does anybody, give me a Y for yes and for no. Do you trust Antonio Pierce? It's an honest question. Do you trust Antonio Pierce, Y for yes.
With my life?
And for no.
Yes.
No, do you trust him to put players on this team that are his guys? Like that's the question to me. And if your answer to that is yes, then you trust him enough to go up and get Jaden Daniels. Is it going to cost a lot? Yes. But I would rather have faith in a coach to go get his guy and pay top dollar instead of saying, oh, I'm too afraid to do it. I'm just going to settle on plan B. Plan B ain't beating Patrick Mahomes. It's not. It's not. But like, realistically, if you want to take down Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs,
last joke of the
day, go get your guy.
Last joke of the day, Plan B could take down Patrick Mahomes. We're just about 25 years too late.
Dude. Oh, Christ. He's 28, but
29 years too late.
The problem is, man, every single person is a risk. And the way that I am as a human being, the way I am as a man, I trust Antonio Pierce. And until AP breaks that trust, I'm going to trust him. Like, I have no reason to not trust Antonio Pierce. he gives me a reason not to trust him, I won't agree with it. Like, if you would have told me, Mitch, should Josh McDaniels and the Raiders trade up to number 1 and go get their quarterback? I would say hell no. I would say there's no way that I would want the Raiders to do that because I don't trust Josh McDaniels. I trust AP, and for that reason, go get your guy. So, the next thing that we're going to be getting into now, let's actually talk a little segments, right? Let's talk about Josh Jacobs here a little bit. We're going to get into, I got 3 segments on tap for all of y'all. First off, though, let me just say this. I appreciate each and every one of y'all that tuned into today's show. I know it's my birthday. It's also, though, Jeremy's last show for a very long time. For those that don't know, you can give your update.
I'll be gone for a week. I'll be getting married.
Which is kind of crazy, man. So the next
Help! I'm almost done! I'm kidding.
Wink,
I'm kidding. But yeah, I'll be gone for a week. I'm going to get married.
If Jeremy randomly types the letter H in the chat, we know what it means.
Yeah, I'll be gone for a week. We're going to Mexico. Mitch took off a week. Now I'm taking off a week. We kind of staggered it, so there wasn't any lapse in Raiders coverage. So, yeah, it'll be fun.
Rebel said, invite us. Here's the thing. Which I've noticed, the amount of people that I would love to invite to my wedding, it's literally not possible. Like, if I won the lottery, then sure, I would invite as many people as I wanted. Until that day happens, man, you gotta limit it. So,
Alan.
Who's the lucky guy? His name is Dan. E? Nah, but so Jeremy will be gone all week. I actually don't know who's going to be my producer Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. I don't know. We'll figure it out, I'm sure. But
I know for a couple of them, Trizzy's stepping in.
Trace is going to step up. All right, so put your drinking pants on. That's all I know. All right, y'all. I think it's time to finally get into our very first segment. And if you're wondering who's in the 50-50 raffle, I just want to shout out some names one more time, and then we will get this thing rocking and rolling. Luis Rod, Cameron Abbott, Randall Carter, Jamari, Jose Andres, Lillian, Christian, Lillian 4 more times, which means $20 Venmo for a chance to win $140. It's a pretty good start. We're going to do that at the very end of today's show. To the 1,000 people that are watching, I'm just going to be real. It's my birthday. Click that like button. You ready? You guys ready? If you've been wondering whether or not the Raiders are going to keep Josh Jacobs, you're in the right spot. And if anybody sends in a super chat while we're going through this segment, we will talk about it, answer it in about 15 to 20 minutes after the seg. Cool? Cool. Let's get it going right now. What up, nation? You call the shots. Should the Raiders franchise tag Josh Jacobs? Give me a yes. Give me a no. If you come across this video, this channel is based on the voices of the nation. Like, I want us to be heard. I want us to be loud and proud down in the comments. So if you think that the Raiders should franchise Jacobs, give me a yes. Give me a no. My answer is going to be at the very end of today's show. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and it's good to be back. Why the Raiders should and shouldn't franchise tag Josh Jacobs, that's going to be coming up here on today's episode. The reason why that we're talking about it is because the window of when NFL teams can franchise tag a player starts today, and it ends on March 5th. So the Raiders, they have a decision that needs to be made. It ends on March 5th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, which then kind of opens up a brand new window of what we're about to get into, which maybe is my favorite time of the year in NFL free agency. March 11th is when it technically starts. The tampering period can get going, and then when guys officially sign is March 13th. But there's going to be a lot of stuff that ends up happening over the next 2 or 3 weeks that you guys cannot afford to miss. If you're wondering, well, Mitch, where do the Raiders currently stand? Salary cap-wise, $42.6 million. It's the 10th most in the NFL. 55 players have been currently signed with the Raiders, and I do project the Raiders to be extremely aggressive this offseason. Yes, they're going to have some money from Jimmy Garoppolo. They're going to have some guys like Hunter Renfrow. I project Las Vegas to be able to get around $65, $70, $75 million in overall cap space, which is plenty of money to go out and spend, which puts you, if the Raiders can get to 75 mil, you're like second in the NFL in overall salary cap space. But the reason why all of y'all are watching is because if there's going to be a player that the silver and black franchise tag, It's the running back, Josh Jacobs. And if you're having deja vu like me, believe me when I tell you I feel it, because all the conversations that we had last year, they're the same, but they are a little bit different considering the fact of Jacobs' relationship with Antonio Pearson, with this current regime that he's had, on top of the fact that 2022, career year. 2023, the worst year of his career. But the Raiders, they tagged Jacobs last season. And because the Raiders tagged him, a lot of people thought, well, Mitch, now you have to give him that extra 20%. That's not true because the Raiders ended up reaching that one-year deal with Jacobs before the season started. So if the Las Vegas Raiders were to franchise tag number 8, it would cost $11.3 million for this season. But before anybody asks, because I already know I'm going to get it because I got it last year, and this is one of the things that I need to do better as a host, and I need to be able to paint a better picture of. People said, well, Mitch, why can't we just franchise tag somebody else? You can. You can franchise tag somebody else, but the bottom line is this. The Raiders will not franchise tag anybody unless that person's name is Josh Jacobs. Why? It simply does not make sense. Jacobs is the top free agent that the Raiders have. And if they want to franchise tag another player, this is what it would end up costing. So if you're wondering, all right, well, how do you get to the number 11.3? A lot of times it's just averages of current salaries already in the NFL. So if the Raiders wanted to franchise tag a linebacker, a DT, a receiver, defensive end, offensive line, cornerback, safety, tight end, running back, that's how much it would cost. And no disrespect to all the other free agents that the Raiders have, or that the other free agents that are getting ready to hit the open market. None of them deserve to make this amount of money on a single year. The only player that is deserving is Josh Jacobs at $11.3 million. But here's the thing. I am probably the most excited for this offseason that I have been in a long time. And if you're watching at home right now, I don't care where you are, raise your hand if you're like me. I rooted for the Raiders through and through. I'm a Raider fan through and through, right? Shout out to Taino Raider for sending me this jersey. The amount of patches we got on this thing, I mean, it is unbelievable. Heck, he had to give me an extra large jersey just so we could fit them all on here. But my point is this. I am so excited for free agency this offseason. I know the Raiders are going to be aggressive, but I rooted for the Raiders the last 2 years because I'm a Raider fan. But I did not believe in Josh McDaniels. I believe in Antonio Pierce. And for the first time in a long time, I really, truly believe in what this organization is doing. And when the Raiders sign somebody, I promise you this, we're going to be live. We're going to be getting wild. You better believe it. So coming up here on today's show, we're going to be looking at some of the ins and outs of Josh Jacobs, of why the Raiders should sign him. And then we're going to say, or not sign, why the Raiders should tag him, and why the Raiders shouldn't franchise tag Jacobs. And then at the very end of today's episode, I'm going to tell you whether or not I think they do or they don't franchise tag him, because I had the opportunity to sit down with some NFL analysts, insiders, at Media Row during the Super Bowl, and I got some pretty damn good insight, if you ask me. So here's why the Raiders should tag Josh Jacobs. I know he's coming off a bad year for Jacobs' standpoint. But does everybody out there believe that Josh Jacobs is still a top 10 running back in the NFL? I know I do. I believe if you put the right offensive line, and if you give him a good quarterback, and then you put him in a better system that's not run by Josh McDaniels, I'll tell you this right now. I believe that Josh Jacobs is still a top running back in the NFL. And with that, because y'all know how I believe, I want the Raiders to be able to add a young quarterback. To me, one of the easiest safety blankets that you could have, whether it's Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, hell, if you're talking about J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, whoever it is, I want the Raiders to draft a QB. You know what's a good safety blanket? Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs. Hand him the rock. All right, the next thing is why you do it is he's got a great relationship with Antonio Pierce, and it kind of ties into our next note as well, where he's loved by the locker room. They gave him a captain status for a reason. Every single Raiders player that I've ever talked to says nothing but very highly encouraging things about Jacobs, and says that he's a great leader in the locker room, but he also brings that Raider tenacity that I want guys to have. I want somebody that wants to run through a wall for the silver and black. And the people that I talk to say that about Jacobs. On top of that, if Antonio Pierce, who to me has never stepped up to the podium and told me something that I didn't believe. Like when Josh McDaniels used to talk, I felt like I was wasting my time. I didn't even want to listen to him because I didn't believe anything that he said. When Antonio Pierce talks, I stop what I'm doing and I listen. And when he says that Josh Jacobs is the heart and soul of the team, I think I got to believe that. No? Next thing is this. The Raiders, no matter what, are going to need to be able to add a running back. I think Zamir White, what he was able to do over the 4 final games of the season was impressive. And I stepped up here on this show and I said, Zamir White's not very good. Zamir White proved me wrong. He proved me that he's the type of running back that once you get him some work, he's like going to get better and better and better. It almost reminded me of my old baseball days where, or just like anything, as soon as you stop playing a sport, as soon as you stop doing something, hell, if you go on vacation for a week and then you try to do a show again, you lose that mojo a little bit and you just need to get back into the ring. My biggest point is, though, Amir Abdullah, I don't see him coming back. Jakob Johnson, I don't see him coming back. Brandon Bolden, you better cut his ass. Sincere McCormick, he will be back. But if you decide to move on from Jacobs, no matter what, you are still going to have to bring in a running back, whether that be via the draft or free agency. So if you want a guy that's your guy and a guy that has already said that he's in on the Raiders, I think Jacobs is a pretty good option. Then the final one is this. He fits with the offensive coaches that the Raiders have hired. I'm not crazy about the Luke Getsy hire, the Raiders offensive coordinator. I'll tell you that right now. But does he fit with Antonio Pierce? The answer to that is absolutely. Does he fit with a Luke Getsy offense? Yes, I actually do think so. I'm worried if you move on from Jacobs and you're going to run a Getsy offense, you're still going to want to run the football, and you're going to have a good running option. What about the Raiders' new offensive line coach, Craig? Guess what type of running attack he works with? Is with a guy like Josh Jacobs. And I know the Raiders have Carnell or Cadillac Williams as their running back coach, and he likes to go with more of a running back by committee, likes to get backs involved in the passing game as well. That's not Zamir White. I think Jacobs proved that he can still be a reliable back, but to me, the offensive coaches that the Raiders have brought in this offseason do fit Josh Jacobs very well. On top of that, though, I think most offenses probably fit a healthy Josh Jacobs pretty damn well. I'm going to tell you why the Raiders should not franchise tag Josh Jacobs in just a second, but if y'all haven't already gotten started with our awesome sponsor, Gametime, I mean this right now. It is the perfect time to get started. The offseason to me is always a time where I'm like, what am I going to do with my free time? Like somebody earlier on today's Raiders Report show said, Mitch, Sundays aren't the same without Raiders football. I couldn't agree with you more. So you know what I like to do on the weekend? Look for a fun event. If you're looking for something under $50, Gametime has an option. So buying tickets to your favorite events, it shouldn't be stressful. Snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Nation, create an account and redeem code RaidersChat for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed. Forget planning months in advance. Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, concerts, comedy, theater, and a whole lot more. For anybody that's planning a trip out to Vegas, I do think it's the perfect app out there. Like, it seems like forever ago, but the Super Bowl, Chugs and I were out there at Las Vegas, and Jeremy had the opportunity to go watch Tom Segura and Brett Kreischer, and two of the best comedians, two of my favorite comedians personally. But the reason why he did it was because it was, Thursday, or did you buy him Thursday or Friday morning?
So what happened was the show was actually Saturday.
Yes.
I was checking Friday. They were like $90. I was like, maybe I go, maybe I don't go. Saturday morning, I check, $49.
And like that's why I love Gametime, because you can like
Thanks, Gametime.
You can plan an entire trip, and I don't like to overplan something when I'm going on a trip, vacation, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be stressed and I want it to be a vacation. But then there's opportunities where you're sitting there and you're like, all right, I got a few hours to kill. What can I do? And you're going to get the lowest price guarantee. And the reason why I love Gametime is they're like, I would rather put somebody in a seat for $1 than not put anybody in that seat, because they also know you're going to buy some food. You're going to buy a few drinks. Like, you're also going to spend money while you're there. Gametime is a game changer for anybody going out to Las Vegas, or anybody planning a trip in general. So that link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. Shout out to Gametime for sponsoring the Raiders Report. All right, coming up next here on the show is why the Raiders shouldn't tag Josh Jacobs. And I always got to say this because I feel like every time I bring this up, people are like, oh, you don't like Jacobs. I love Jacobs. Like, he is one of my favorite Raiders out there. Anybody that gets that shield tatted on him, believe me when I tell you, like, that's one of my guys. But when we do this show, we have to do it from a realistic standpoint. Like, when I sit down and talk to my mom and dad and I ask for advice, I want the honest feedback, right? Like, that's the only way that you grow as a human being. I want honest feedback. So here's my honest feedback of why you shouldn't tag Jacobs. He's coming off a career worst year. Like, if you want to tag a running back when he's coming off his career best year in 2022, okay, I can kind of wrap my mind around it. But even last year, and I tried telling all y'all, like, I made a video last year saying history suggests the Raiders should not franchise tag Jacobs. I don't mean to say I told you so, But when you look at history a lot of times and you can read the tea leaves, it ends up being a very easy thing to talk about. Jacobs is a talented running back, yes. But when you consider the workload that he had the year before, it was not smart for the Raiders to franchise tag him, and it really wasn't all that smart for him to get a one-year deal done. Like, if I was Raiders, I would have said, it's all right, Jacobs, you move on. The next reason is it's going to be too expensive. And some people might say $11.3 million too expensive for Jacobs? Yes. Yes. I promise you this. If Jacobs hits the open market, he's not getting $11.3 million. And it's not because Jacobs isn't a great running back. It's not because he couldn't be a great addition on another team. It's not because he's not a top RB in the league. It's because the NFL does not value running backs. Point blank, period. I mean, think about all the deals that happened last year. Nobody paid a running back. And right now where running backs are, if you're a team that's a RB away from winning a Super Bowl, you pay Josh Jacobs $11.3 million. However, if I'm the Raiders, if I'm Antonio Pierce, if I'm Tom Telesco, I'm going to allocate that money elsewhere. Like, if I told you that you could allocate $11.3 million and put that towards maybe getting a top defensive tackle, putting that towards maybe getting a top corner, putting that towards, I don't know, even signing a QB like Kirk Cousins. My point is, we saw last year, you could have arguably the best running back in the NFL. If your offensive line isn't playing well, if your quarterback has just guys stacking the box, it does not matter who your running back is if not everything else around him is perfect. And the only way that I believe that the Raiders should allocate that type of money to a running back is if everything else around him is perfect. And with the Raiders right now being Jermaine Illuminor, Greg Van Roten, and Andre James hitting free agency, that's 3 offensive linemen, 3 starting caliber offensive linemen. If you could use that $11.3 million and build an offensive line, I almost would rather you allocate that money better in that way. And then the last one is this. Jacobs wants a long-term deal. Like, Jacobs and his team last offseason said, oh, I don't like the franchise tag because I wanted a longer-term deal. I wanted more guarantees. And if I'm a running back, I want more guarantees. If I'm a worker, if I'm a living being, think about the job that you're in right now. If they told you, hey, after a year, you could be fired. You don't want that. If you got family, if you got kids, which Jacobs has plenty, like, you have to be able to think about your long-term living style. He's only 26 years old. And if a team would be willing to give him a 3-year deal, maybe it's less money per year, but I would much rather have a 3-year deal with less money than just a 1-year deal with more money. Jacobs wants a long-term deal, and if you franchise tag him, I'm not sure he's going to be happy. And if Jacobs isn't happy on a 1-year deal making the most money, I don't want to go down a path that we went down last year where he was unmotivated, out of shape. You can say what you want. He was clearly out of shape at the start of the season. That's not worth the money to me. So coming up here next on the show is my prediction on whether or not the Raiders are going to tag Jacobs. Like, there's no doubt the Raiders want to tag Jacobs. There's no doubt that the Raiders want to bring Jacobs back. It's probably how I should say that. But still, there's a lot of things that need to end up happening in order for that deal to end up going down. For those that don't know, today is my birthday, and I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that tunes into the show. Thank you to everybody that takes time out of their day to wish me a happy birthday on IG, Twitter, during this live show. I mean, shout out to Urza and Lord Cameron Abbott. We're balling out on today's live show. Shout out to Taino Raider for sending me this Raider jersey, though it looks like a Raider poncho. But you know what? At the end of the day, I love this team. I love y'all. And as much as I love the Raiders, I love the nation 10 times more. And I do this show because of all of y'all. So I know I look like I'm wearing a dress right now. But I'll tell you this right now. I would wear a Raiders dress every single day of the week if it meant that I could do this show. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys a lot. I don't think you realize how much you do truly mean to me. So again, thank you for all the birthday wishes. So will the Raiders end up franchise tagging Josh Jacobs? I'm going to give this one only one just win, baby. For those that don't know what that means, it means that I say it is a less than a 25% chance of it happening. And the only reason why that I say this is because for both parties, the Raiders and Josh Jacobs, I think it's the best that if he does not get franchise tagged. To me, the Raiders, if they tag him at $11.3 million, it will be the most money that Jacobs gets on a per-year basis out there. So for the Raiders, you're getting kind of the short end of the stick. But for Jacobs, who I've already said wants a long-term deal, you don't want a long-term deal. And if there is any team out there right now that is willing to give you a long-term deal, it's the Raiders. Like, if I'm Jacobs, I want to come back and play with AP, which he does want to come back and play with AP. If I'm Antonio Pierce and I'm the Raiders, I want to bring him back on a longer-term deal. That way we can build around him a little bit more, and then it doesn't cost as much on a year-to-year basis. The numbers that I'm going to show you, you'll kind of paint the picture on that. But to me, Jacobs, at the end of the day, he ain't getting $11.3 million a year in a free agency. On top of that, I do not trust Josh Jacobs on the franchise tag. I'm a big person where until you break my trust, I trust you. Antonio Pierce, I'd run through a wall for that guy. Why? He has earned my trust. And until AP doesn't earn that trust, guess what? I'm going to trust him. Jacobs got the franchise tag last year, said, you know what? I'm not going to show up. I get it. He was looking for his money. He was looking for his bag, as he should do. But on top of that, you got to stay in football shape. Josh Jacobs was clearly not as good as what he was the year before, and clearly wasn't in the shape that he should have been, despite him saying that he was working out and doing all this stuff. Here's the thing, man. I look at it as coming into the office and working at home. I can work at home. I'm a good at-home worker. But when I'm in the office, I am 10 times more efficient. Why? There's not nearly as much distractions. So I don't trust Jacobs on the franchise tag. On top of that, I know he's not getting that type of money. So is Jacobs returning to Vegas? Here's one of the things that Jeremy Fowler told me. Fowler had the opportunity to sit down with him and talk. I guess I shouldn't say sit down. Had the opportunity to stand with him and talk for about 5 to 10 minutes at Media Row during the Super Bowl. And he told me that the Raiders want to bring back Josh Jacobs. And he also told me that Josh wants to be a Raider. Obviously, money's got to make sense for everybody, but not tagging Jacobs doesn't mean that he won't return. In fact, I think the more likely scenario is that they go, all right, Josh, we're going to let you test free agency. We're going to do that. And then they end up signing him on a multi-year deal because that's what Jacobs wants. Jacobs wants a multi-year deal with whatever team that he ends up signing with. Now, if a team throws him a bag, Jacobs is going to take that bag. Like, he's not just going to sign with the Raiders because it's the Raiders. If an NFL team throws him a bag, he's going to take it. And when you look at the projected contracts from places like PFF and Spotrac, I'll tell you this right now. If a team throws Jacobs those numbers, he's going. Like, Spotrac to me, 4 years, $42.7 million is so off. It's not funny, and Spotrac has been very off on their running back projections over the past few years. Even PFF thinking that he's going to get $11.5 million on a 3-year deal. He didn't get this deal last year, coming off a career year. So when I look at both of these numbers, I don't want people to look at what PFF projected. I don't want people to look at Spotrac. And one of the reasons why we started this show is because people can throw out numbers, but they don't fully understand the idea, the conversation around the Raiders and Raiders in general. And to me, both of those contract projections are bad. That's not what's going to happen. Here was my take it or leave it offer to Josh Jacobs. And I get it. I might not get Jacobs back on my team. But at the end of the day, it's not. I don't do the Josh Jacobs report by Chat Sports. This is the Raiders report, and I will always put the shield above every player. I don't do this show to make players happy. It is, here's my offer. You're going to get a 2-year deal at $17 million with $17 million guaranteed. That's only $8.5 million per year. But you know what? If I'm the Raiders and I look at all the other needs that I have right now, I'm not necessarily thinking that I should allocate all my money to the running back position. This is, you want to play for us? You're coming off your career worst year? Well, guess what? I'm going to give you more guaranteed money than you have ever seen in your life. 2 years, $17 million. The other reason why I'm going to go 2 years is because I know for a fact the Raiders wanted Cliff Kingsbury on a 2-year deal. And from every person that I talk to is the Raiders this offseason, they're going to try to negotiate a lot of 2-year deals because they want to be able to put a lot of players on this roster on 2 years. So for that reasoning, I'm saying 2 years, $17 million, fully guaranteed contract. Josh Jacobs knows where he's at the next 2 seasons. So that's my offer to Josh Jacobs. All right, with all that being said, should the Raiders franchise tag Jacobs? Give me a yes, give me a no, let me know what you're thinking. It's time to give some shout-outs here. After all that, what do you think? I know it was a lot. You kind of built the show.
Yeah, I did.
Do you think
Spit me a whole hour building that show.
Do you think that the Raiders should franchise tag Jacobs?
No.
No way.
No.
What do you think on the open market he gets?
I think
From a non-Raider standpoint, you'd cover a lot of other shows here as well. What do you think legitimately he gets on the open market?
I think it's a crapshoot because you're looking at, and I think we have the graphic in here, look at all these guys who are available.
Yeah.
Like, will Josh Jacobs command more than Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Austin Ekeler, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift? Like, you're not really going from a point of, in these negotiations of strength whenever there's 9 other guys who are arguably not as good as you. Maybe a couple of those guys, Derrick Henry, Saquon, you could argue. But
to me, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley are in the same conversation as Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, so it's like if one of those guys gets a deal worth $9 million a year, how are you going to come out and be like, oh, I want 11?
Yeah.
Like, you're not. So I think you could see a lot of these guys either taking one-year deals. I could see like Derrick Henry, Saquon taking one-year deals and trying to build up that value a little bit more, see what happens. Or on the flip side, kind of like you said, take a 3-year deal at significantly less, but you know that you're getting that money. Like a 3-year, $24 million deal.
Sure. See, I think if it's 3 years, then the number per year goes down, where the number I've thrown out is 3 years, 21 mil, which then I would say, Jacobs, you have the full 21 mil guaranteed. Like, Jacobs wants years, and he wants guaranteed dollars. So if he wants the years and guaranteed, I'm willing to give him that. It's just going to be at a much less price. Like, and we also, again, Jacobs is coming off the worst year of his career. Zamir White showed you that he can be at least a halfway reliable back. So because of that, do you just go draft somebody? Or another running back that I know for a fact has been in communications, and a back that I talked to at Media Row was Austin Ekeler. Like, Ekeler is Tom Telesco's guy. Like, Telesco found Ekeler as a UDFA, and Ekeler was what he was. And then when you look at the type of running backs that Cornell Cadillac Williams has used at Auburn, he likes to utilize the receiving game for the running backs. Now, that might also be because the running backs were the most athletic players at Auburn, and they didn't believe it a lot in the quarterback, which is what I see on tape. But still, again, it has to make sense for the Raiders. Like, if a team like the Buffalo Bills, if a team, honestly, like the Kansas City Chiefs, they have Isaiah Pacheco. A team that's like, I am a running back away.
The Baltimore Ravens.
If that's the best team probably that out of them all. If the Ravens said, hey, Jacobs, here's $12 million, like, that's the team that makes sense. It doesn't make sense for the Raiders to give him $12 million.
The Ravens have been heavily linked to Saquon, Derrick Henry, and I'm guessing probably also Josh Jacobs in that same breath. They want to spend on a running back in free agency, and it might be a good year for them because they can be like, they can kind of use these guys against each other, as bad as that sounds, be like, oh, yeah, Derek, you want to be on the team. Oh, you want 11 mil? Well, Josh Jacobs said he would take 9.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to take 9, we'll go with you. If not, we're going to go with Josh Jacobs.
And, it's kind of one of those things where, think about a guy like Dalvin Cook. I do think Josh Jacobs is much better than Dalvin Cook at this point of their careers. And, we were one of the people that said Dalvin's kind of washed. And, people got mad. I think we saw what it was. But when you have an aggressive team like the Jets, and the Jets were super aggressive this offseason, they offered Dalvin Cook $8 million. 8 on a 1-year deal. Like, to me, Jacobs this offseason, if you offer him a 1-year deal, it's probably going to be around 10. Maybe it's at 11.3. As soon as you add that extra year, teams are cutting that value down greatly. And I mean greatly. What up, Mando? F them picks, move up in the draft. I'm with you. I am full on F them picks. I'm moving up in the draft if it means I can go get my quarterback. What up, John? A. Brown was
Lamar's backup QB. He runs a 4.3. Yeah. Sorry. There's actually another Anthony Brown, which
I think is
a better Anthony Brown.
Probably. He's an athletic quarterback. Very, very athletic quarterback, and I do think it makes a lot of sense for teams to add somebody like that to their practice squad.
And to be fair, he wasn't Lamar's backup. He was the third string.
Third string?
Tyler Huntley.
Fair. So, was a backup, but not the backup.
Yeah, he wasn't Lamar's backup. He was Tyler Huntley's backup.
Fair. That's fair.
Kendrell Riggins.
I want that jersey. So, again, I got this one from Taino. And for those that don't know, Taino's an OG Raiders Report watcher here. And
he's in the chat. He actually, The most recent chat is from Taino.
Yeah, Taino Raider 16. Shout out to him. If you guys want to shout out, spam Taino.
Taino, that's my bad. I was in the other room and I came in and Mitch was mid-shredding it open and I go, I think he wanted you to open that on live.
Yeah.
And he had it in his hand. He's like, it's open.
Yeah. I just sat down and I noticed I had some packages that I didn't open from vacation. I was like, all right, I'll open this one because it was the one UPS one that I couldn't really see. And I was like, all right, I'll just rip this bad boy open. And then, so that's on me. Honestly, it was probably the worst timing possible. So our bad, Taino, our bad.
Shout out to Taino, though.
Shout out to freaking Taino. Also, shout out to today's MVP, Urza Alvarado.
Also, showing love to Raider Nation, he sent us a very nice note saying that us and Hammer were his two favorite Raiders podcast/shows.
Yep.
Shout out to Hammer as well.
My guy, I'll have to get on Hammer's show. We'll have to rep the jersey. Though, Taino did say that he thought I was an extra large and that he had got an XXL just because he thought they were tight. If anybody wants to send me a jersey like this, I'm a medium.
Actually, though, it does make sense, though, because with all the patches, I don't know if an XL would have held all the patches.
Man, I will agree with that sentiment of this is a medium, it can't hold nearly as much.
And what you got to do with that, you got to wear that out, but you got to do the classic gray hoodie underneath.
Oh.
And wear that on top of the gray hoodie.
Or, hear me out on this, when we do finally get our Raiders Report studio.
We frame it?
We frame it.
Or, what are we, in a boat? Ben Bailey.
I'm on a boat. No work out an incentive contract with Jacobs or let him walk. The problem with that idea, and I am always a big incentives guy, that's not what players want. Yeah. And especially for a guy like Jacobs who wants a multi-year deal, the last thing that he wants is an incentive-based deal where if you want to give him $10 million a year and then give him an incentives base on top of that to make more money, that's what he would want. But he's not going to take like a $6-7 million per year deal with heavy incentives. Like that's just simply not going to happen. What up, John? Appreciate you supporting the show, my man. And then, oh man. If you don't spam Urza, you eat corn the long way. Let's give some shout-outs here to my man Urza. I owe y'all a beer bong, and then I'm just going to be real. I got to take a leak. I'm a few deep right now. I actually am proud that I was able to hang on to that as well as I did. Also, I don't know if you guys know this. Raiders guy, they had Jerry Shulpinski last year. The Rams just hired him. He was working with the tight ends. So, not a surprise because the Raiders hired a brand new tight end coach. And we're about to talk about all the Raiders staff hires here in just a second. But I owe y'all a beer bong, and then I'm going to have to take a leak. Chugs, can you give a few shout-outs here to everybody spamming Urza?
You bet your arse I can! Raiders Smoke 89 says, happy B-Day, Mitch. What are your thoughts on Mike Florio stirring up the pot by saying AP needs to get reprimanded for his comments on Pat Mahomes? I think he's soft as baby shit. I think reprimanded, stupid. That's very dumb. I think
I think as long as there's not a bounty out.
Yeah.
Honestly, like as long as AP's not like bounty hunting, he's good. To me, every single NFL team should try to hit the quarterback, which the whole like Raiders statement was you try to hit the QB in the first 5 to 10 snaps, right? You try to set that tone. And I think the way Max Crosby does it is a very good and playful way. And when I've listened to Max talk on his podcast, it's more of it's like a check, like, hey, I just want you to know I'm here. Like, I was half a second away from hitting you. And if you're a quarterback, in the back of your mind, even if you're doing, I don't care what sport it is, basketball, you shoot, and if some guy just puts a hand on you, you're thinking, all right, he's that close to me. I got to get this shot off just that a little bit quicker. If you're a QB, you got to get the pass off that a little bit quicker. I mean, the Raiders laid a blueprint of how to at least fluster Mahomes.
Yeah.
They did. I mean, the team, I would say Patrick Mahomes' worst game as an NFL starting quarterback, off the top of my head, was the Raiders' Christmas game against him. If you're an NFL team, the tape that you watch is that game. How can we fluster Mahomes? You turn on that tape.
Hellcat, I saw what you said. I don't know why it's not showing up in the system. We had a little glitch, so maybe it didn't show up then. But Hellcat wanted you to know that you actually do share a birthday with the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Brutal. I also know the Kansas City Chiefs' daughter. I believe she lives here in Dallas.
Put her address in the chat.
I will not do that. Also, I see Arlen Howland's happy birthday, Mitch. Best wishes. Arlen, I appreciate you. All right, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go take a quick leak. I'm not going to do 2 o'clock because I still want to get through these 2 segments. Next segment that's going to be coming up here is my staff grades for the silver and black. And I'll also say that we are 2 bangs away from a Chugs boot. 2 bangs away from a Chugs boot. Can it happen before I get back?
All right. So let me know down in the chat. Mitch's birthday. We actually got Mitch a Reese's peanut butter cake, chocolate PB cake. Let me know, what cake do you get on your birthday? What kind of cake do you get on your birthday? Let me know down in the chat. Autumn, I'm the same way. I'm a simple kind of man. Shout out Leonard Skinner. On my birthday, my soon-to-be wife usually gets me or makes me simple yellow cake, chocolate icing. Yeah, Hellcat, I did. We got him a Reese's peanut butter cake. It was pretty bomb. One of my coworkers said it wasn't going to be good. He's an absolute fraud. If everybody who tried the cake in office absolutely loved it. Tres leches, I see. German chocolate cake. Raider cake. Let's see. Weed cake. I've never had that flavor. Cheesecake. I don't eat cake from Daniel Caps Keenan. Ron Raspberry says cheesecake. Tres leches strawberry. Ooh, that sounds bomb. All chocolate from Heart of Blaze. You know what chocolate cake I like? Is the tuxedo chocolate cake. I don't know if you've ever had that, but it's the one where it's like all 3 chocolates. It's like a dark chocolate, a white chocolate, and a milk chocolate all in the same cake. I am a chocolate fiend. I will eat that cake up so fast. I love that one. I see mango cake. That's interesting. Mudslide cake. Costco. Robert, you almost got me on that one. Coconut pineapple poke cake. Ooh, Justine Gonzalez. That sounds bomb. A pineapple coconut cake? Peanut butter M&M brownies with French vanilla ice cream. No cake from Rough Raider. I would take that every day of the week. Ed Robbins, boo. No, Ed. We are not carrot cake. We are not a carrot cake podcast. Even though Mitch likes carrot cake. I am not carrot cake. I don't mind it, but out of all the cakes, I'm not choosing carrot cake. No way. I see Carvel ice cream cake. I've never had that either. Let me know down in the comment section. Not carrot. Yeah, that's what I said, Justine. Not carrot cake for the birthday. Hellcat says booty cakes. Mango ube cake from Rebel, Montana. Mango ube. Ooh, that sounds good. Urza says I'm maxed out. All good, Urza. You've done more than enough. I appreciate you donating to the channel. If you do choose to continue going wild for Mitch's birthday, we can also put up your Venmos here on the screen as well. Daniel says, I get cheesecake, don't eat cake. Burnt almond cake. Burnt almond. Frolian says, my girlfriend's cakes. I don't know about that. Red velvet. I see marble cake. I used to have marble cake all the time growing up.
I feel like marble cake was the cake that I expected. Is that maybe the way to phrase it? Like, to me, when I was a kid, I think, I don't know if you got the cake that you did, because I used to always say the cake that I used to get when I was a kid was the peanut butter cake.
That's why I got you this one.
I figured that. But marble cake is good.
It's good.
It's good. Like,
it's real good.
I love sweets though. Like, at the end of the day, I'm a big sweets guy. Though my favorite kid, when I think of a kid cake, like the cake that I used to love when I was a kid, the carnival ice cream cake with those crunchy things in the middle.
I think somebody is it Carvel?
Carvel.
Yeah, somebody was saying that in the chat. Oreo ice cream cake is a good one. Ooh, Biscoff cake, the cookie butter cake.
I don't know if I ever had that.
I've had cookie butter.
I've had cookie butter cheesecake.
That sounds bomb.
Oh my god. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Plum cake is good.
I usually go pretty basic. I've said it many times. Yellow cake, chocolate icing. I'm a simple man. But if I'm out and about and if I see it, also Sam's has a really good one as well, which this is one of my favorite cakes of all time. Tuxedo chocolate cake.
Oh, tuxedo.
Where it's the white chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate.
Yep.
I could F that up.
Yeah, tuxedo cake's very good. When I was in Paris this past week, some of the desserts that I had a chocolate eclair, which I'm not going to lie to you, was probably my lowest expectations of a dessert. Probably one of the best things that I had in Paris.
Love chocolate eclairs.
Well, again, I thought it was just going to be a donut. A lot better than what I thought it was going to end up being. And then I had this, it was like a lemon tart dessert. Super, super good. I actually like that more. The bon chocolat, the croissants. There's a bon chocolat. It was basically a croissant with chocolate in it. It's good.
It sounded like you were doing that boom, shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka. Can I get 2 boom shakalakas?
They're like, all right, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
The best thing that I had dessert-wise, though, in Paris was I had a chocolate souffle with coconut ice cream. Dude, I'm telling you right now, shit was as electric as what Lord Cameron Abbott just did.
I've not really had many souffles.
Unbelievable.
I thought, even though it was good,
yep.
Maybe a hot take for me.
Okay.
From the desserts that we got at Joel's Chop House. Check out Joel's Chop House when you go to Vegas. Best meal I've ever had.
It might be the best meal I've ever had in my life.
The souffle was
also tell them that we sent you. They'll hook you up. I've already talked to Joel.
The souffle was it was good, but out of all the ones, I would rank it last. The key lime pie was good, but that baked Alaska was bomb.
See, I thought the baked Alaska was good.
The tiramisu was really good.
See, I thought that key lime pie, it was 2 key lime pies in one.
Yeah.
The way that they layered the key lime pie, so when you ate it, it literally felt like it was 2 different pies. It was unbelievable.
It had a meringue on top.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, it was.
That was good. The carrot cake, even though, Ed, I'm sorry, I called you out earlier. I'm not a big fan of carrot cake. The carrot cake there was good.
Dude, the carrot cake they gave us on that final night, that was stupid.
And then, dude,
that was stupid.
A sneaky one too. A sneaky one was the strawberry shortcake.
Oh yeah,
Marsh ate all of it.
Yeah, say Marshall ran and hid with that. Lord Cameron Abbott. Bang!
Happy birthday, Mitch. Can't wait to see the new studio. How long till you get it? AP will move up in the draft to get his guy, Jaden Daniels. That's what I believe. I have faith in him. # Raiders.
So, to be honest, I don't have the timetable yet on when we're going to get it. And it's because it depends on what happens here at our studio. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 spaces here at Chat Sports where you can film. Jeremy and I have the biggest one. It's kind of in our main room. We call it Studio A.
Yeah, we do.
But our lease runs out in it's a few months. our lease here in this building runs out in a few months, and when we signed this lease, we got a really good deal because of COVID. And actually, like the first 2 months that we were in this building, we had rent. We literally could stay rent free, and now the upcharge is rather high. So I don't know if we're going to stay in this building. So until we figure out what we are going to do in terms of our lease and rent agreement, because like this lease rent agreement that we have here is, I mean, it's probably double of what you and I pay for rent right now, I would imagine. You add all that together.
Well, if it's less, might move here.
I was going to say, I might just live in Studio A.
We're moving downtown.
Yeah, right?
Sadie has a whole downtown area.
Until we know what happens next for like where the studio is going to be, because we have a few other places that we're looking at kind of around this area. And then once we do finally finalize where we're going to be, then that's where we're going to start constructing the Raiders only studio. But I'll admit it's going to look a lot different. Like, I don't know if I'll still have a green screen. I don't know if Jeremy's going to have a green screen either. Like, it's going to be, I want it to be just, like real. I want everything, to just be like jerseys in the background. Like, I want keg stands over here. Like, I want it to be a Raiders bar, not just a green screen. All right, y'all. I do owe y'all one mere beer bong, and then we're gonna get into this next segment.
Bonga.
I'll say this though, this will be Jeremy Chuggs' final segment as I was gonna say single man, as a non-married man.
Yeah.
Though you are technically married.
Yes. We got legalized in the States.
Correct. Technically married. But until it's your last show until the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah? L'chaim. So I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna make a deal. If you guys want to get a shout out here on today's show, spam Jeremy Chuggs down below.
Oh no.
And I'm gonna make a deal. I'm ready to make a deal for Chuggs.
Oh no.
I hate to break it to you. It's gonna happen. Chuggs, give some shout outs.
Sienna in the chat. Rough Raider in the chat. Rebel Montana says Chuggs. Luis Rodriguez. Peak Boogie. Taino. Raider Conway. Tyler. Ivan Sosa. Herman. Tyler. Braden. Raider Conway. Otterwin. Peak Boogie. Ron. Glenn. Ginkins. Steve-O. Tadashi. Jamari. Sean PM. Daniel Caps Keenan. Jamari Murray. Wesley Wallace. Tyler. Stoffel the Badger. Yoda Jenkins, Anthony Rowe, Peak Boogie, Heart of Blaze, Urza, Hellcat, Sucker Free Raider, Raider Conway, Kimbo, John, Sienna, Miller, Sean PM, Li Raider, Joseph, Urza, Tyler, Sienna.
Absolutely love it. All right, so here's the deal that I'm going to do. If you guys want to show Jeremy a little bit of love here, and sometimes you got to keep some stuff on the DL on these shows. So here's what's going to happen. If anybody sends in a Venmo, at Mitchell Renz 365, $20 Venmo. Just put Chuggs in the notes, and I'm going to send that to Chuggs just as go get yourself a drink, take out the fiance for something. So,
oh wow!
If you want to get in, $20 Venmo, just send it to Jeremy. If you say, you know what, Mitch, $40 Venmo if you want in the 50-50 raffle, and we'll send it to Jeremy just in the notes on my Venmo. Just put Chuggs. That way I can literally, because I can't take the money off YouTube and send it to him. It just doesn't work like that. That's why we asked for Venmo. So if anybody at any point wants to just buy, I don't know, Jeremy and his wife, I don't know what to call Danny. Wife, fiance?
My wife.
Wants to buy her a drink. It's going to be his
times that I've
final
said that
show.
To her?
What?
The amount of times that I've said that to her.
What?
My wife.
I mean, there's that time, like even this past trip in Paris, I was talking about Alex, and I was like, yeah, my wife Alex, and I feel like I just say it now because it's already like the mindset. But even like when I do say it, I'm like, well, that's not right. But I do feel like it's more right because if I say girlfriend, I get a look of like.
And fiance doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
The fiance sucks. It's a nice word. It's like caramel and caramel. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It just sounds more expensive.
And also fiance. As soon as you say that, then you have to answer 5 more questions.
Yep.
If you just say wife, they're like, okay.
Problem solved.
If you say fiance, you get 6 wedding questions right afterwards.
I mean, it's as literally as easy as that. So, if anybody wants to buy Jeremy and his wife a drink.
My wife.
Just Venmo me 20, and then that way I can send it to him.
And
so, Anthony, Jason, thank you.
Since I am leaving after this next
Literally, like this next segment, Jeremy's got to go.
segment, this is what we'll do. We're gonna start the segment. We're $100 away from a boot. If we get it during the segment, I will just do the boot, and then I'll dip out.
Skedaddle. All right, sounds good. And then after Jeremy leaves, Coop's going to end up joining the show. So coming up here right now, we're going to get into some staff grades. I know I'm getting asked by a lot of people, Mitch, what do you think of this guy? What do you think of this guy? Well, luckily for you, we're going to get into all the grades that I have here around the Las Vegas Raiders staff hires over the past, basically any new hire. Cool? Ready?
I'm ready.
Ready? Let's get this show on the road. Raider Nation, what's going on? Today's show is presented by Manscaped, and you already know, I clean my black hole, and I clean up here as well. And if you want to be like me and you want to make sure that everything is looking A+, go to manscaped.com, use code Raiders for 20% off, and you're going to get free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. So coming up here on today's show, I'm going to be giving grades to all the new hires of the Raiders this offseason. So when I say new hires, I am going to be talking about all the new coaching staff hires, but I'm also going to give some grades on Tom Telesco, Antonio Pierce, or if there's been a coach that has got a promotion. I did my best, okay, to do like a tracker to figure out all the new hires, everything new around the Raiders in their front office, coaching staff, and I did all the important names, and what I decided is I'm going to throw them all in a video and give you my God-honest grade based on right now and right now only. If you're wondering, Mitch, what the hell is your grading system? Here it is, what it is. A is excellent, B is good, C is average, D is bad, F, it's a fail. And all these grades are based on what their job is right now. So I don't care if somebody failed as an OC. If I think they're going to be a good quarterback coach, it's going to be a good grade. If somebody failed as a head coach, but guess what? We have them as a position coach. It's based off of what they currently are with the Las Vegas Raiders. That and that only. So the first person that we're going to be bringing up here on today's show, it's going to be Tom Telesco at general manager. Telesco's job is still going to have to change a lot. Like, the grade that I'm about to give Telesco is going to change so much over the next 2 months, it's not even funny. But based on what I know right now, and based off of the Raiders right now, I am going to give my grade on Telesco a C+, which actually has gone up. And yes, he was the Chargers GM from 2013 to 2023, which is, to me, the main reason why that he got this job. But the reason why that I'm excited to see what Telesco is able to do is because I know he is going to be aggressive. And anybody that's watched this show before knows how much I love Howie Roseman. To me, the only way that you're going to be good in the NFL is if you're aggressive. If you're just going to sit back, it's going to be a rough time for you, just like anything in life. Go out and get what you want. He's been handling contracts in the past. He's not going to be doing that now, which is why this is a C+ grade. Let's go to the next name on this list, Champ Kelly as the assistant GM. I thought that there were other candidates better than Kelly to be the next general manager of the Raiders, but when it comes down to it, if you can have a guy like Champ Kelly to be your assistant GM, that's a hell of a dude to have. And right now, I would give that grade an A-. And he is probably one of the most respected assistant GMs in the National Football League. There were multiple NFL teams out there thinking about hiring him to be their GM. And the fact that he's well-respected and well-liked in that Raiders locker room, not just by, like, the average players, I'll call them. I'm talking about your cornerstone players. Antonio Pierce is the head coach, and Max Crosby went to bat for him. Guess what? Max Crosby also went to bat for Champ Kelly. And when you get a guy that I believe has a chance to be the greatest Raider of all time going to bat for you, that means a lot. You don't have all the pressure of being a GM, but an assistant GM, Champ Kelly, might be one of the best in the biz. So if you want to stay locked in on all things going on around the Raiders free agency and the 2024 NFL Draft, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. These coaches, these grades are going to change. Like, what I'm doing right now, it's going to change during free agency. It's going to change a week from now. It's going to change during the draft. The bottom line is, every single move that the Raiders make, I promise you, I already took my vacation. Now, y'all got me the rest of the year for the entire year of 2024. Make sure you subscribe so you don't forget a thing. Let's go to the next person here, and it's Antonio Pierce, the Raiders head coach. This grade is going to change more than any grade out there because it solely depends on what they're going to do at the quarterback position. Do I believe that AP is going to be great coaching up that defense? Hell freaking yeah, I do. But in terms of that offense, it's still a little bit of a question mark. And the reason why I'm going to give this a B-plus grade and the reason why that I can't give it anything of an A is because some of the moves that the Raiders have made from a coaching standpoint on offense, I'll be real, make me a little bit nervous. To me, though, this is a defense that's going to be elite. And he did a good job reassuring and retaining Patrick Graham, which was a big thing. And if Antonio Pierce goes out and gets a Jaden Daniels, that's an A-plus grade. If Antonio Pierce starts the year with Aiden O'Connell, I'll give AP a C grade. But from what I know right now, and I have the confidence in AP, I'm going to give that hire a B-plus grade because at the end of the day, I think it was really the only hire that the Raiders could have made because it's what the players wanted, what the fans wanted, and it's really what I wanted as well. So get those red pens out. That's going to be the pinned comment on today's show. I want you to grade the hire of Antonio Pierce. A, B, C, D, or F. And based on my grading system, you're about to get hit with a YouTube bad break. I want you to scroll on down and let me know. All right, let's go to the next name here. It's Marvin Lewis, the assistant head coach. And the assistant head coach is maybe not so much of a talked about position, but I do think it's one that's very important for a first-time head coach. And Antonio Pearson, look at it as almost like a father figure. Look at it as almost like somebody that you can lean on to make those difficult decisions. And to me, Marvin Lewis being able to help out Antonio Pierce in this assistant head coaching role, that's an A grade to me, right? He worked with AP at Arizona State from 2019 to 21. He was the Bengals head coach from 2003 to 18. Like, that's 15 years of head coaching experience. And even though Marvin has 0-7 in the playoffs, which is some of his fault, it's also some of the players that maybe he had, he's been coaching since 1981. And to me, the only red flag that Antonio Pierce has is that he doesn't have any coaching experience. But like I said before, every single head coach at one point did not have enough head coaching experience. So if you're going to throw out the red flag of, hey, Mitch, Antonio Pierce doesn't have enough head coaching experience, all right, bet. Let's add an assistant head coach that's been working in the NFL. It's been working around coaching college football, NFL for a very long time and has been a head coach in the NFL for over 15 years. To me, very smart and intelligent hire because it's not only because of what he's done in the past, it's also his recent relationship with Antonio Pierce. Let's not go to the next name, Luke Getsy, the Raiders OC. And this one was a very controversial one for the simple fact of not a lot of people were thrilled about this hire, and Getsy was one of the last people that I would have picked from the Raiders OC candidates, which is why I'm going to give it a C- grade. It's going to be one of the lowest grades that you see because the unknowns. And anytime I watch tape or anytime that I look at unknowns, especially with a coach, there's a lot of things that I look for. And my biggest question mark when it comes to Getsy is, was it a Justin Fields problem or was it a Getsy problem? Because when I watched the tape, his offenses to me were very vanilla in Chicago. He was unable to make adjustments. And when I watched Getsy's tape, it reminded me a lot of McDaniels where you're like, how can this guy fail to see the adjustments that he needs to make? That scares the hell out of me. However, though, I know Devontae Adams vouched for him, and from his time in Green Bay from 2014 to 2017, as a quarterback coach, Getsy did a pretty damn good job. Yes, he had Aaron Rodgers. That's where it's like, was it Fields? Was it Getsy? Was it Rodgers? We're going to find out this season. I got more grades coming up here in just a second, but remember, today's show is presented by Manscaped, and Manscaped's been a sponsor here on the show for a very long time, so I want you guys to always show them love. 2024 is here and in full swing, and that means it's time for a new year resolution. Check in with our friends at Manscaped. Newsflash! It's never too late to level up your grooming game and keep your bush tame. Manscaped's new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Whether you're going for a trim or that clean-shaven look, this trimmer has you covered. Equipped with 2 skin-safe blades heads, and a standard one for taking a little off the top, and a new foil blade to go smooth wherever your heart desires. Trusted by over 10 million men worldwide, now is your time to get your grip on your grooming. With our exclusive offer, go to manscaped.com and use code Raiders for 20% off plus free shipping. The ball has dropped. but don't drop the ball on your balls. Bottom line is this. I went to Paris this past week. For those that do not know, it's also my birthday today at the time that I'm recording the show. And when I got in the shower today, guess what? I used Manscaped. And the reason why that I use Manscaped is because I think every man out there, this is the most honest conversation that I can have with you. On your birthday, if there was a day, Chuck's is smiling too, if there's one day that you feel like that you could get lucky, it's, I'm not doing that. It's your birthday. And to me, I should say the first thing, Alex, don't watch today's show. When I went in the shower today, I'm like, you're damn right I'm using Manscaped. And for every guy out there, I don't care what you say, you can freaking relate to that. Every woman out there, if you're wondering why your man's taking a shower so long on his birthday, it's because if there's ever a chance that he can get a little bit lucky, it's today. And for that reason, I trusted Manscaped, and I want you guys to. Manscaped.com, use code Raiders for 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. Let's go to the next name here on our list, and this was probably the name that I got the most questions by when I was on vacation, Rich Scangarello, and I'm going to give this one a D grade. I sat about this one for a long time. I watched some tape, I'm not going to lie to y'all, during my vacation, and I came to this. At the end of the day, he's been fired 6 times. And anybody that's been fired from their job 6 times, I have a hard time trusting. Like, since Manscaped's our sponsor, if you dated somebody that's been in a relationship, I'm not talking about like a fling. If somebody's been married 6 times, are you really going to be like, that's the person that I want to marry? Like, he's worked with multiple different quarterbacks, and not only multiple different quarterbacks, but also multiple different quarterback like systems, styles, talent. All have struggled, and then the following year, I feel like the quarterback's better when they're without him. He started with the Raiders in 2009. I almost wonder if AP is going about this like, this guy's a Raider, like he wants to be a part of the staff. But this hire scares the absolute hell out of me. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong in giving this one a D grade. But I hope that we don't get D down by hiring Rich Scangarello. Let's go to the next name here on this list. It's Fred Walker, the assistant quarterback coach. And sometimes I try to wrap my mind around pairings, right? And maybe with the pairing of Getsky, Scangarello, and then also you add in Fred Walker, can I wrap my mind around it being a good hire? I'm going to give this one a C+ grade, and he served with the Raiders previously as an offensive assistant, and then he got a promotion. And the way that I look at anybody on the offensive side of the football is the Raiders try to clean house on the offense. The only way possible, in my book, I'm not confirming this, I haven't talked to anybody about it, but to me, the only way that the Raiders are going to keep somebody on the offensive side of the football is if they were well-liked or well-respected in that locker room. And because of that, I have to believe that Fred Walker was well-liked and well-respected. He was the UMass quarterback coach back in 2021. But besides that, like, you had Luke Getsy, Scangarello, Fred Walker as the OC quarterback coach / assistant quarterback coach. I would have said that this group might have been the most important group that the Raiders could have added this offseason. And this group right here might scare me more than any group possible that the Raiders have hired. I'm going to trust AP. And I have a feeling I'm going to say that a lot. I'm going to trust AP. But AP is going to be judged on what these 3 men do this season. Let's go to the next name here, the offensive line coach, James Craig. And he's got big shoes to fill. Like, y'all know that I love Carmen Brasillo. And it was probably one of the best things that Josh McDaniels did was adding Brasillo to his staff. But Brasillo obviously left. He went to the New York Giants. But you're able to aim at James Craig. And I'm going to give this one an A- grade because I believe his upside might even be better than somebody like Carmen Brasillo. And when I think about Craig, I actually think that this could be somebody that if the Raiders have a good year this year on the offensive line, considering the fact that 3 of their starters are going to be free agents, James Craig could be a name that could just keep in mind as being a OC / head coach candidate. And I say that because he did an incredible job at LSU from 2018 to 2020. And off the top of my head, I want to say it was like 6, 7, or 8 players from LSU in those 3 years ended up going in the first round of the draft. Like, that's a good job from an offensive lineman coach standpoint. Next, you think about then he's with the San Francisco 49ers from 2022 to 2023. the Kyle Shanahan system and what they're able to implement on the offensive line, that's going to carry over here to the Raiders. So I look at what he did at LSU, the coaching tree, and the people that he's been around the past 2 years. You add all of that, and then you add the fact that he's a power blocking scheme, which kind of goes with what Antonio Pierce wants to run and kind of what Luke Getsy probably does best. I add all that together, and I get an A- grade. So for those that do not know, today is my birthday, and I want to play a game here because I love playing this game. It's a game that goes back to the old school chat sports days. I want you to guess my age. And I know that probably 75% of you know the answer to this, but I like to do this because we add new subs every single day. If you take that time out of your day to hit that new subscribe button, I just want you to know that I appreciate the hell out of it. But I do this show so y'all get to know me better and that I get to know you better. Like, this isn't a normal YouTube show. This is a family. This is an unbelievable thing. And if you're watching this live, and if you believe this thing is a family, if you don't watch this live, go back and watch this live. If you believe this show is about family, spam family down below, because I'll tell you this right now, that's what this thing's all about. Let's go to the next Raiders coaching staff grades. It's Cornell, a.k.a. Cadillac Williams. And you ever have that moment you're like, holy shit, I feel old? I can remember back in my old school fantasy football days, one of the very first running backs I ever drafted was Tiki Barber. One of the other first running backs I ever drafted was Cadillac Williams, and he is the Raiders' new running back coach. I was really hopeful that the silver and black kept Kennedy Polamalu. Unfortunately, though, he has moved on. He's taken a new job. I believe it's with the Seattle Seahawks, and he's done a solid job at Auburn over the past, I want to say, 2 or 3 years, where he's filled in as like an assistant head coach, and Auburn has always been known for its running game. Drafted 5th overall in 2005, which I do think is important because one of the things that AP and the staff has done is said, okay, I want to add guys to this roster that are not only good teachers, not only good coaches, but also have that playing experience where they can have that communication of, hey, I've been there. I've done that. I get it. Used to be a running back by committee at Auburn and tried to utilize them in the passing game, which is what I'm very curious to see what the Raiders do with Josh Jacobs, because whoever the running back is going to be, whoever the running backs are, you're going to get your opportunities in the passing game, and it's also going to be a running back by committee. Let's go to the tight end coach now, Luke Steckel. And Steckel is another very good under the Raider. I actually kind of like that, under the Raider hire. And I'm going to give this one a B+ grade. He has experiences with both the tight ends and the offensive line, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I know a lot of people think Jacobs is going to be coming back. If the Raiders were to spend big, I'd almost be curious if they were to spend big on a guy like Derrick Henry, because I think Derrick Henry actually fits Getsy, the quarterback coach, Cornell Williams, and Steckel better than what Jacobs does, doing like a power run type of scheme. But no matter what, I expect Michael Mayer, because of Getsy, to have an unbelievable year. And then you add Steichel into this mix, I think Mayer's going to have an even better year. Like, my sleeper tight end right now in fantasy, Michael Mayer is who that's going to be. But the pairing with James Craig, like, Craig is a really good offensive line-minded coach. Steichel has basically done a better job, I think, with like run blocking, pass blocking with tight ends. If you can get that pass blocking, run blocking to pair with Michael Mayer even better, dude, sky's the limit for number 87. Let's go to DeAndre Pierce, the assistant offensive coach. And I do this show, and I keep it a buck with y'all. This is one of the moves that I don't like to say he only got hired because of his dad, but I'm curious of why the Raiders decided to go this route. Like, I understand, and sometimes I laugh at how the NFL works because, you know, there's a lot of times out there where everybody sitting there has applied for a job, and they always wonder, well, who gets the job over me? This is just one of those moves where he had the right networking opportunity. He was able to get his foot in the door. He is the son of Antonio Pierce. He played at Arizona State from 2020 to 2021 on the defensive side of the football. He was the defensive quality coach for Cal Poly San Luis back in 2023, so last season. And now he's getting a job on the offensive side of the football. Like, I do not mean to be disrespectful. However, to me, the only reason why he got this job is because his dad is Antonio Pierce. I hope I'm wrong in that, and I hope that I'm proved wrong in that, because there's been other coaches that probably, you look at the Shanahan tree, right? Like, those guys probably got jobs because their dad was Shanahan. It can change a little bit. But from being a defensive guy in college, your entire career and coaching-wise, and then get an offensive job, I do have to just say I think that he got this job because of his dad. So I'm going to give it a D. But at the end of the day, I do trust AP. Let's go to the next one. Mitch Singler, the assistant offensive coach. And this is another promotion. Another promotion by the Las Vegas Raiders. And I'm going to give this one a C+ grade. Basically, everybody that got a promotion, I gave a C+ grade. He spent the last 2 seasons as the Raiders' offensive quality coach. And anybody that had to be kept, you must have been liked or respected in that locker room. And at the end of the day, like, that does mean a lot to me. He is regarded as being a very good teacher and a very good coach. In fact, one of the players that I talked to during Media Row, one of the names that they threw out at me was Mitch Singler. And I remember hearing it and thinking it like, oh, wow, that was kind of intriguing to me. And then, you fast forward a week later, he ends up getting that promotion. Like, to me, Antonio Pierce and this Raiders staff is listening to their players. They are listening to their guys, and it's one of the reasons why they're bringing in all these past and former player coaches. So, Mitch Singler, I'm going to give that one a C+. Before I get into some more grades here in just a second, if anybody's been wondering about what my live schedule is going to be, this is what my live schedule is going to be. I'm going to be live on Thursday, Friday, and then I'm going to be live on Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific here on the Raider Sport. So make sure you're subscribed. And obviously, I'll be live Tuesday. I'm still trying to figure out my live schedule for the offseason, but with free agency coming up, you guys are going to be seeing me a lot, no doubt about it. Let's go to Ricky Manning here at corner. And I was really excited when the Raiders hired Manning because I saw this trend. And this was kind of like one of the very first hires that the Raiders did where I was like, all right, they're going in this trend where they're trying to find former NFL players, and they're going to try to bring him in as a player coach. I'm going to give this one a B grade. I do think that it's a good upside move. I will admit, it's a little bit of a downgrade from Jason Simmons on paper just because I was such a fan of Jason Simmons. Like the way that I talked about Carmen Brasillo, the way that I talked about Rob Leonard, and even Simmons. Like Simmons did a phenomenal job. Him and Patrick Graham did a phenomenal job last season with all the Raiders secondary players. But I do think Ricky Manning can be sneaky good because of all the young talent that he has been around. And he's going to bring swagger. I think Raider fans are really, really going to like Ricky Manning. Let's go to the next name here. It's Mike Caldwell. And this was, I think, one of the names that I was the most excited to talk about on this show because Mike Caldwell has, let's keep it a buck here, some past experience where maybe he wasn't as good in other roles. If you're talking about linebacker coach and linebacker coach only, he's an A+ hire as the Raiders linebacking coach. Like, if you were to sit down and grade every single linebacker coach in the NFL, I think if you were to sit down and ask 32 NFL GMs, 32 NFL analysts, 32 people that are legitimate, like have knowledge on the league, Mike Caldwell's name's getting brought up in terms of the best linebacking coaches in the NFL. And this is going to be a huge boost for the Raiders' run defense. Plus, on top of that, the Raiders are going to look for athletes at the position. And they'll be surprised if they try to find a hard-hitting middle linebacker. I'm just going to throw out the name Denzel Perryman because that's like the most recent name being thrown out there. But if I'm Divine Diablo, I love this hire right here. If I'm Robert Spillane, that's your hard-hitting middle linebacker. But this is going to be a team that's going to try to add some more athletes to the linebacker position. Mike Caldwell, A+, hell of a job there. Let's go to Gerald Alexander, the safety coach here, by the Silver and Black. And I was really excited also on top of that when the Raiders hired Alexander because they kind of hired Ricky Manning and Alexander at the exact same time, which is why I'm going to give this one an A grade. He's a young coach with a great track record in Miami and in Pittsburgh. And former players, he's a very well-respected coach. And I had a source reach out to me back when the Raiders hired Alexander, and they said, I know how much you love Rob Alexander. This could be your Rob Alexander. And the reason why that speaks volumes to me is because I know how well Rob has done with the Raiders defensive line and how well he did in the past. What did I say? Oh, yeah, Rob Leonard. Excuse me, I was tying in the names. Rob Leonard. I knew how much I loved Rob Leonard in terms of when he was brought in because he was so well respected back in Miami. Gerald Alexander gives me like those sneaky vibes of you're giving him Trevon Merrick and Marcus Epps. You pair that with Ricky Manning and Jack Jones, Nate Hobbs, the amount of swagger that is going to be in this Raiders secondary, I'm telling you what right now, it would not surprise me if by the end of the year people were like, It's the best secondary in the NFL. Let's go to the final name that I have here on this list. It's Andre Carter, the assistant defensive line coach, more of the pass rush specialist for the Silver and Black. And I give this one a B- grade. To me personally, when I watch the tape on his teams, he's probably known for more of stopping the run. And I know it's pass rush specialty, but that's not really what he's done a good job of. To me, his guys have done a better job of stopping the run. I do think it's going to be a really good addition with Rob Leonard in terms of what they both bring to the table, because Leonard proved to me this season that his guys can get after the quarterback. You pair that with Andre Carter, and if they can end up stopping the run, like all the coaches that the Raiders have added, it kind of like fills weaknesses that this defense had past season. On top of that, drafted 7th overall back in 2001, played a little bit with the Oakland Raiders back in, I want to say, 2012. You add all that together, and I do think Andre Carter is a B- move. However, the Raiders did make a move right before I started doing today's show, and it was the Raiders are hiring former Dolphins head coach Joe Philbin as their new senior offensive assistant. After spending time as the Cowboys' O-line coach and the Ohio State senior analyst, Philbin is back in the NFL to lend experience to Antonio Pierce. The way that I look at this move is the exact same way I look at the Marvin Lewis move. If the number one knock on Antonio Pierce is he doesn't have enough coaching experience, this is where AP humbles himself and is a true man, like where McDaniels would have never done this. Antonio Pierce is such a man and such like a knowledgeable person of, he goes, all right, you're going to put that on me? Guess what? I'm going to add people that have head coaching experience from all different types of teams. That's why this move to me, I'm going to give this one a B+ move. And this is just off the cuff here. He's going to add coaching experience, and if you're going to add somebody as an offensive assistant, you have to be able to trust them, and you have to be able to trust him and all the guys together. It does, though, I'll be real, does still scare me a little bit with the offense. So one more time here, we're going to roll through all these coaching grades. Out of all the moves so far, I have been okay happy, like with the offensive moves. The defensive side of the football, I have absolutely loved what the Raiders were able to do. And I think to me, it just goes to the experience level of where Antonio Pierce is at, right? Like Antonio Pierce is a defensive-minded coach. He's able to find solid defensive talent. On the offensive side of the football, I am a little bit scared. So in conclusion, to me, the Raiders ended last season with an elite defense. And the staff that they're building right now, it's an elite defensive staff. The offensive side of the football, you still need a quarterback. And all the people that they have brought in still need and have a lot to prove, man. They absolutely have a lot to prove. So in conclusion, I like this staff. There's a lot of upside. A lot of upside. And if this goes well, the way that the NFL works, it's a copycat league. They're bringing in a lot of former NFL players, and they're putting them in there as coaches. If this ends up working out, don't be surprised if some more NFL teams try to do the exact same thing. All right, y'all, LA Crash Dog, this is absolutely a family. What's up, fam? What did I miss? I hope you enjoyed your time off, bro, with your beautiful future bride, Semper Fi. LA, bro, I'll tell you this right now, I did. I had a hell of a time, and I think at the end of the day, anytime I have the opportunity to spend some time with Alex, it's obviously great. It's obviously appreciated. But what was so good about it is it was uninterrupted. And what do I mean by that? When you do a job like I have, and I think anybody here at Chat Sports can speak on that, you're never off the clock. And if anybody's a doctor out there, if anybody has a job where they're always on clock 24/7, where it's not that I'm working, but I know at any moment it could be 1 o'clock in the morning and Josh McDaniels gets fired. Like, my job is to show up, pull up, and be ready to go. What's great about vacation time is it's like that. I don't gotta worry about anything besides just concentrating on my person. And I don't get to do that often, so when I do, I appreciate it. And I know she does too. And even her a few times, like when we were on vacation, she's like, I said something to her. I was like, oh man, the Raiders did this. Oh man, the Raiders did that. And she's like, are you going to make a video? And I, being like, no, I'm not going to do that. The smile I got was a big win. But now she knows I'm back to the grind, and now she kind of knows how it is all going to end up going down. What is that name? All right, so Chugs, unfortunately, y'all, he did have to just go. Like, he's already running kind of late. That's on me. But I want y'all to welcome in our brand new Jewish
His
host.
brother.
His brethren. Jeffrey Cooper.
What's going on? Happy birthday, Mitchell Renz.
Hey, thank you guys very, very much. But I was very, very happy to be able to spend some time, Crash Dog. I greatly appreciate that. Also, I want to see how many people ended up doing our deal with Jeremy. So I see 1.
There's a deal?
Yeah, I made a deal with Jeremy, so I just want to see who it all was. 2. I just want to make sure 3. Chugs is out. 4. Love it. All right. Appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in to today's show. We got 750 people watching the show. We are 30 likes away from 600. If you guys want to get those questions, comments on the show, it's hashtag Raiders or Super Chat.
You saw the Joe Philbin news?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, we got that one. We got the Joe Philbin news. So we do have one more segment coming up here on today's show around some ESPN projections. But if you could, Coop, can you show them what the deals of today's show are? It's a List 4 logo.
Yes.
And then also, I see, I'm going to have to send you a message here real quick. Yes, that is it. So today's deals of the show are as followed. Every time you super chat and tell me happy birthday, I will take a drink to that. I am 31 years old today, which is kind of a...
That's crazy.
It's kind of a wild thing. I mean, I was literally talking to Alex about it the other day. I was like, when I first started working here, I was 24. Like, and I look out at the amount of people out there that are 24 years old. Man, that's it's surreal. I mean, it's totally mind blowing. If you would have told me when I was 24 that I'd be here now, I don't know if I would have believed you. I also don't know I don't know if I would have believed that Chat Sports would be what it is today, which is kind of a mind blowing thing. But we've come a long way, man, and it's a very, very beautiful thing. Every $20 super chat that we get, which funny fact, we have not gotten a single one yet. I'll do a shot of Fireball, which I literally poured this up at the beginning of today's show. I got some Fireball in here if you want to take a shot with me. $100, I will do a beer bong, but if you send in a $100 super chat, every bang today is going to count as 2 for February. So today, MVP is Urza Alvarado, who's got 5 bangs today. It's going to count as 10. Lord Cameron Abbott banged twice. It's going to count as 4. And then Michael banged once today. That's going to count as 2 for the overall bang race. And I'll tell you what, this has put Urza in a very interesting spot overall for the leaderboard.
Climbing the ladder?
He's climbing the ladder. I want to say now he is in 2nd place behind only Justin. I mean, the problem is Abjan's a psychopath. And I mean that in the most likable way possible.
What's Abjan at?
Abjan's at 14.
And Alvarado's at 10?
Alvarado's at 11. Trivan's at 10. Lord Cameron Abbott's at 8.
Look what Alvarado just said in the chat.
Yikes. Well, here's my question, Alvarado. Is it from you or your sister? Because I just got one from your sister, and I don't know if it's from you or your sister. That was going to be my next question. Do you want me to? I'll send it to you if I get any bangs.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Have you been using the Venmo GIF?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I believe. Yep. I think that's what we're looking for here. All right, let's do it.
Hold on.
Oh wait, that's not right. Don't send it yet.
I'm not.
Don't send it yet.
Not sending.
I actually copied the wrong name. It's that name instead.
Okay.
My bad.
One moment.
I saw the name underneath. Also, for anybody that wants a chance to get in our 50-50 raffle, $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. Also, Lillian, I'm going to give you an extra entry as well. 15 people are in, which means chance to win $20 Venmo for a chance to win, listen to this, $150. But you know what? Oh, man, today's MVP, and I'll tell you what, making a strong name for himself, it is Urza Alvarado. Bang! What up, Urza? What up, Urza?
Let's go.
So that was a tag team between him and his sister. I always knew I'd be in a tag team between Urza and his sister.
Whoa. Alex, hope you're not watching.
I mean, I'm worried about Chuck at this point.
Did Jeremy keep the name somewhere of who is in
I have
today's-
everything.
You have it all? Okay.
I have it all. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Urza, cheers to you. I owe you a beer bong. If you want a shout out on today's show, spam Urza right now, which I'll tell you this puts Urza at 13 bangs for the month of February.
Oh, boy.
One more, he takes the lead over Avjin, which Avjin is a totally different human being. I'm just going to warn you. Avjin was our MVP in December and in January.
And he's going for the trifecta?
I'm worried he might win it every month.
Oh, boy.
I mean, he's nuts. That man is nuts. Let's go to Adrian Clark Delgado. Happy birthday, Mitch. Let me take this down real quick, though.
Happy birthday, Mitch. Thanks for all you do for the nation. Hope the French treated you well. Paris is one hell of a city. Never been to Paris.
The French were nice. Like, I went to Paris when I was like 20, when I lived over in Europe, and it was a lot different now, where the amount of people that spoke English, I mean, it was almost too easy. The only time that I had a few hiccups were in Ubers, but
That makes sense.
I will admit, I paid the extra whatever to get, like, Premier.
Oh, like Uber Black?
Yeah, but I'll say this, it was a lot cheaper. Like, I got Uber Black over there, it was like $13.
That's not bad at all.
$15. Now, I could have done the $8 route for the Uber X or whatever, but I was like,
You didn't want to risk?
No, I mean, in a city, in a country that I don't speak the language, I will pay the extra whatever. If it was you and me, I would order Uber X.
Yeah,
Like,
but you're with
Alex, no chance
Yeah.
I'm doing it, right? So, like, we did that, and it was fine. Like, even, I think the most expensive Premier Uber that we ended up getting was like $28.
Oh, that's not bad at
It was
all.
at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I
Really?
mean?
Yeah, that's
Dude,
not,
it was
that's
not bad at all. Like, I ordered it, and I was like, I can do this. And with Alex, it was, had to do it. Again,
Absolutely.
you and me, we probably would have taken
We
the
could have done
subway.
the Uber Light.
Pet Uber. But Adrian, dude, I appreciate that. We had a great time, and I appreciate everyone for always pulling up here to the Raiders Report. Let's go to Michael Owens. Mike, the only reason why I paused at this is because one of my best friends in high school was named Michael Owens, and he was legitimately the only black kid in like our entire high school. I'll be real with you. So his dad was a great athlete. His number is retired at Syracuse for football, and his uncle, Michael Owens, is retired at Syracuse for basketball.
Wow.
He was a number 3 overall pick, I believe, by Golden State. I'll just be real with you. I mean, where I'm from, this might surprise you, Central Pennsylvania, Amish country, there's not a lot of black people. So when my buddy Mike pulled up at 6'4", 220, running the 4.3 40, it was like,
That's incredible.
right? It was like Chuck running, right? It was
I could beat Chuck.
yeah, I know. So I the reason why I paused when I saw your name is because I legitimately tried to get a really, really good look at you. But I also know Mike's not a Raiders fan. But lifelong Raider fan, love what you guys are doing. I appreciate the hell
Shout
out of
out
that.
to you, Michael.
Yeah,
That's
Mike.
a 20 as well.
That is the 20. That's a shot of fire. My first fireball shot of the day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of refreshing. I put a lot of ice in there. I haven't had fireball in probably like 3 weeks at this point. But
Were you fiending?
I'm not gonna go that far. It was a good change up. It was a good change up from the Happy Dads. But my friend Mike, I used to pick him up from high school. Pick him up. I used to take him to school, and I'd bring him home from school every single day. And then my dad, my junior or senior year, I actually forget at this point, he used to work in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So I lived at home by myself during the week. And Mike, he would come over and stay at my house, and I'd put a bed like on the floor, and him and I would just play like NBA 2K.
That's electric.
For the longest time. And I can remember, oh, dude, I used to whoop him with, who was the lefty from the Bucks?
Michael Redd?
Michael Redd! Yes!
That's awesome.
Oh, dude, that's insane. But, Mike, I'll tell you this right now. I will remember your picture, your name from here on out. It was just more of a I was like, no freaking way is Mike watching the show. But much love to you, bro. I appreciate that. What's up, John? Is that Chugs' twin brother, Chugsy Uggsy?
We're twins in some ways.
Think about them as like Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yes, exactly.
They're the first part, and then there's just the Smith-Schuster. What up, Rebel? You forgot Ocho Cinco. Here's the thing. Ocho Cinco ain't a coach.
Is he not? What is his capacity?
He's not a coach. He's not on the Raiders. Whole
So
thing,
that was just a lie.
yes, whole thing was a fake.
You're shitting me.
I'm not shitting you. So it came out later that he was never going to be a coach, but at Media Row, everybody was around Ocho, right? Like everybody's trying to talk to Chad.
Of course.
Chad's Chad, which he's not an easy guy to talk to. I'll be real with you. But then I saw his agent and his wife. So what I did, instead of going around to 20 people trying to talk to Chad, I went and I talked to Chad's agent and his wife, and I go, hey, I run this show. This is what I do. I'd love to get Chad on as a host and just like, be able to talk to him a little bit. And his wife was like, it's not true. And I go, what do you mean it's not true? And she's like, none of it's true. It's all fake. He's not a coach. And I'm like, so you're telling me he's not a coach? And she just kept like laughing. She's like, no. And she literally like rolled her eyes, and she was like, Chad. Chad. Like she kept going that, and I was like, all right. And then I talked to his agent, and I go, legitimately tell me, is he a coach of the Raiders? And he was like, no, bro. It was just
That's
a joke.
hilarious.
Which,
Good
if
investigative
there was
journalism.
one person that'd probably do it, it probably would be Chad Johnson, but is what it is, man. No Chad Johnson, though, Rebel.
That's wild.
All right, I'm going to refresh my phone here one more time, and I see who else is in this thing, and this is, dude, this is, I'm going to be real with y'all. This is going to get sticky.
I don't know what that means.
This is going to be mind-blowing. All right, Tri-Van you in. Hang on a second here. I just got something on my phone that's going to blow some of y'all's minds. Tri-Van you in. Cameron Abbott, I'm going to put you in 3 times here. Cameron Abbott, and then Anthony Green.
AG.
You in. So here's what's going to happen, Coop. I'm going to go take a pee because I have a lot of drinking to do.
Okay.
I'm going to go take a quick leak. I'm not going to do any drinking deals unless, if y'all send in a 20, I'll take a shot of Fireball because I do still have one more segment that I got to get through here on today's show.
Now, if I make a deal with you not present and you don't know about it, what are you going to do?
We'll see.
Mitch is gone. We can make deals. $100 super chat. He'll do a beer pong. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Is Chugs dressed up like married for 23 years, Chugs? I don't know what that means. They've done 2 cuts. We've got one more. Trace Gerard in the cut. Oh, Trace is hopping up there where Mitch is. Hang on, I'll get him back on. There's Trizzy.
Raider Nation, what's going on? How are y'all having a good day celebrating Mitchell Renz' birthday?
Everyone type HBD
Y'all
in the
having
chat.
fun celebrating our guy Mitchell Renz, the birthday girl? He's having a beautiful day.
31.
31 years young, but some would say he looks like he's 13.
Sienna wants a Raiders.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Had to lather the pipes.
Yep. Oh, I thought you were going for it.
Raiders.
That's crazy.
There you go.
I can't even do that.
Raiders.
Are you okay?
No, I'm celebrating Mitchell Renz' birthday. It's a time to get
It is
weird.
Mitchell Renz's
It's a
birthday.
day to get weird, man. It's a
Let's
day to
go.
get weird. What's up, Millard? How you doing, brother?
Shout out to
How you
Israel. Shout out
doing?
Millard. Shout out to Cosme.
Way to keep the chat moving.
Let's go,
I'm
baby.
going to say this right now. Until Mitchell Renz gets back, if I get a $20 super chat, I'm going to break up one of these happy dads. I see a whole table of happy dads.
Oh, there's one.
And there you go.
There's one.
Ask and you shall receive. That is how Raider Nation gets down.
Shout out Tri-Van.
That is how Raider Nation gets down.
Shout out Tri-Van.
Tri-Van, are you having a good day, brother? Are you having a good day?
Mitch is back.
You should have heard my Raider call. It was electric. I did. Yeah.
I did.
I was near like the other work office.
I like this. This is sick, dude. This is the baby Yoda.
It's actually
is
dope.
Dope too. Where did you get this, dude? This
Alan
is
Maxwell
awesome.
says Chugs too. Who's
Titus
this
in it?
guy?
That's dope.
I'm Chugs' evil twin.
Dude, I mean, the amount of patches I have on this freaking thing,
Sick.
it's
that is dope.
Oh, the statue.
it's kind of insane.
Dead one.
It's a what?
Grateful Dead.
Where?
Where?
That's Grateful Dead?
Yeah, it's the Grateful Dead head.
Who knew?
Skeleton.
Dude, the amount of patches I have on this, it's kind of nuts.
Custom made, obviously.
It's kind of nuts. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll tell you this right now. This is gonna be interesting. What's gonna happen here? Tryvan, I owe you a shot.
What's gonna happen?
Cameron, I see what you did. Here's the thing, Cameron. Cameron, if you're watching the show right now, which I think obviously you are, is it cool if we do what you did after I do my next segment? Because
Let us know, Cameron.
it's going to be up to you, Cameron. If you say yes, then we're going to get into this next segment. If the answer is no, then my next segment might not be very good. It might be a little bit blurry. I'm just going to be real with y'all. But King Eastwick, Anthony, we got Alan, we got Mr. Zombie. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Cosme?
A Cosme?
You are the only person to say my YouTube name correctly. I got you, a
A
Cosme.
Cosme.
I got you.
Cameron Abbott says yes. Thank the effing
So
Lord.
we're doing the segment first?
All right, so we're going to do the segment
Okay.
first, and then we are going to get into what Cameron did. Because
But you owe 2 shots because you got one from Tryvan and one from Blaine Craig. Happy birthday, Mitch.
Blaine! What's up, Blaine? Mr. Tryvan. Tryvan was our MVP during our Super Bowl show.
Yes, of course.
I mean, I'll tell you this. Tryvan went berserk.
I believe it.
Tryvan went berserk, which I feel like Tryvan, the only time like he goes crazy is when it benefits other people. And what we ended up doing was like, if you send in a $100 super chat, we were able to give out like beers to everybody
Yes,
in the.
I remember that.
And then he sent in a 5. So, bro, I'm not kidding you. Like when that happened, every single person, like again, it's Super Bowl, right? It's the game. And everybody's watching the game. They're all locked in. And I was like, Tryvan 500 bang. And like everyone like knew what was going to happen. But because it was the largest one we got of the day, everyone was like, so do we all get beers?
How does this work?
And it was just like,
That's hilarious.
Dude, they were just filling up cups, man. It was a really, really cool experience. So Tryvan, I know you weren't there to see it, but for anybody that sent in a hundo or doing what you did, I mean, imagine 100. There was like 130 people there. Imagine 130 people just being like, you just bought a round of drinks for 130 people. Like, it was kind of a crazy thing, man.
Ridiculous.
All right. So here's going to be the next segment that we do. We're going to get into some ESPN predictions, if you will. And then this might turn into a little bit of a shit show. It might turn into a little bit of a shit show. I'm just going to warn y'all right now. And remember, if anybody wants a chance to get in to win some money, $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. Right now, $20 Venmo, you'd have a chance to win $210. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, y'all, you ready to get into this next show? I hope so, because it's the final one on today's live, and then we might put our hair down here a little bit. It might get a little bit interesting.
We're going to do what?
Put our hair down a little bit.
Oh, boy.
Put drinking pants on.
All right, I'll get them on.
Hair
I got
down
shorts
a little
on right
bit.
now. Is that okay?
That'll work.
All right.
Your legs are white, though.
Yeah, I'm pasty.
Pasty. Love it. All right, let's go right now. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on today's show is going to be my reaction to ESPN's article titled 2024 NFL Free Agency Best Team Fits for the Top 50 Players. So the Las Vegas Raiders, they were mentioned 4 times in this article, and with NFL Free Agency just around the corner, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on March 13, 2024. Now remember, the legal tampering period starts March 11th at noon. So basically from March 11th noon to March 13th at 4 p.m., like there's going to be a lot of the breaking news that ends on happening where this player is going here, this player is going here. It doesn't become officially official until March 13th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. But right now with the NFL with the NFL tag deadline being from February 20th to March 5th, it's that's where the whole Josh Jacobs news comes into play. So we are going to talk about Jacobs today because he was one of the players that was mentioned. And for the Raiders, they're going to be aggressive this offseason. Like, they're going to have a lot of money to spend. And currently, their salary cap is at $42.6 million. That's the 10th most in the National Football League. 55 players have currently signed. We know that the Silver and Black are going to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo. It's going to save about $24 million. However, you're not really going to get that money until after June 1st. So, like, this number here won't increase to 60-something million until a little bit later on. Now, do I think if I'm the Raiders, I still negotiate contracts and sign players based off of the knowledge that I know I'm going to get that extra $24 million post-June 1st? Yes, absolutely. But in terms of the numbers that we have right now, it is this, and it will only gain maybe a little extra mil come actual free agency time. So if you're looking for daily Raiders news and rumors videos all off season long, I promise you this, we got you covered, man. Whether it's trades, whether it's a signing, whether it's videos around the NFL draft, I promise you this, there will not be another person out there on YouTube that puts in more time and effort than me. I just took my vacation. So now you guys got me for every single day for the rest of the year that you can bet on. Subscribe, it's absolutely free. So since this video is around ESPN and their projections, ESPN is projecting that the Las Vegas Raiders, they signed defensive tackle DJ Reader. And Reader's been a name that I've brought up a few times on a few shows for the simple fact of I brought him up during my free agency targets. I brought him up on my top DTs to target in free agency. But Reader at 6'3", 335 pounds is one of the top defensive tackles on the free agent market. And if he was able to stay healthy, he might even be a little bit higher. Last season, 34 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble. But fumble recovery. When you look at the past 3 years, though, when on the field, DJ Reader has been a top 10 defensive tackle in the National Football League by a lot of standards. Even, I believe he's top 12 according to PFF over the past 3 years. He has been a dominant force on the interior. So when you think about what what ESPN had to say about Reader and why the Raiders are projected to sign him, this is what they had to say. Reader suffered a season-ending quad injury this past season, and that's the main reason I have him lower in the ranks. When healthy, Reader wins with leverage, power, and pad level at the point of attack, and he can get up to the toes of opposing quarterbacks as an interior pass rusher. 15 pressures in 2023 with the Bengals. In Vegas, he would provide a critical upgrade on the interior of the defensive line with Max Crosby and Malcolm Kuntz making plays on the edges. So when you look at the past 4 seasons for Reader, and when I look at a defensive tackle, I don't always look at the numbers that they put up, but I look more at the impact that they provide. And Reader's going to take up double teams. When you're that big of a human being, you're going to take up double teams. That's going to free up more one-on-ones for Malcolm Kuntz, more one-on-ones for Max Crosby. And one of the biggest reasons why I want the Raiders to sign an interior defensive tackle is because it's also going to help Tyree Wilson, who you drafted at number 7 overall in last year's draft. On top of that, with the Raiders' current depth chart, John Jenkins, free agent, Bilal Nichols, Adam Butler, both free agents. If you were going to go into next season and all you had was Jerry Tillery, Byron Young, Malcolm McCall, Matthew Butler, and Nesta Jade Silvera, it would be the worst defensive tackle room in the National Football League. So because of your investment in Tyree Wilson, because of your investment in a guy like Max Crosby and Malcolm Kuntz, you need to add that big man on the interior. And for people that have watched this show, I've put out this graphic before. My top DTs in 2024 free agency for the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's not get it twisted. Chris Jones is the best player on this list, okay? Chris Jones is the number 1 top free agent in the entire NFL right now. However, for the Raiders, based on age, based on price, based on what I'm trying to build overall, I would rather pay a guy like Justin Matabuke $24 million, a Christian Wilkins $20 million, instead of paying Chris Jones maybe $33 million if he were to end up coming here to the Las Vegas Raiders. And because of all those things, the number one thing that I have said that I want the Raiders to do in free agency, and I feel like it's the same thing I've been saying for years and years and years, it's you need to add a big name interior defensive tackle because then you can bring 4, which plays perfectly into the hands of what Patrick Graham likes to do. And if you have a guy like DJ Reader, Tyree Wilson, Malcolm Kuntz, Max Crosby, good luck. Good luck, offensive coordinators. So here's going to be the pinned comment on today's show. Let's just say we fast forward here a little bit, and it's March 11th, March 12th, March 13th, and I go live on this show, and I go, hey, the Las Vegas Raiders, they have just signed defensive tackle DJ Reader. Obviously, we don't know the numbers yet, right? But if you heard that news, what would you grade the signing of it? A, B, C, D, or F? You're about to get it with a YouTube ad break. Scroll on down and let me know. My answer to this would be an A- because I want the Raiders to spend big on DT this offseason, and when he's healthy, he is to me a clear top 10 defensive tackle, and he's been a top 10 defensive tackle for the past 3 seasons when he's been healthy. Yes, you're going to have to pay him money, but I know a lot of fans out there love Leonard Williams, and when you look at the numbers from a healthy standpoint, DJ Reader has been better than Leonard Williams when on the field. Williams has just been the more healthy player, and when I talk about figures, when I talk about money, this is what PFF and Spotrac has projected for DJ Reader this offseason. PFF projects 3 years, $45.75 million at $15.25 million per year. Spotrac is at 3 years, 44 with $14.9 million per year. So if I'm the Raiders right now, Tiz, I would take either of these deals in a heartbeat for DJ because I know at 29, he's basically 29 and a half years old, going to basically be 30 years old at the start of the season. If there's one position on the defensive side of the football that I am confident in and that a guy can produce at over the age of 30, it's DT. And you add him to that interior, you finally have that big dude up the middle that's going to take on double teams that frees up Max Crosby and Malcolm Kuntz. I'm telling you right now, you bring in DJ Reader, and we're getting wild here on the Raiders Report. So coming up here next is going to be the 3 players that were mentioned with the Raiders. And anytime a guy is mentioned, now ESPN did not project that the Raiders go out and sign these next 3 guys, but they were mentioned as being candidates. And if you're projected as being a candidate, that means you're also, it makes sense. Like you're at least in the realm of possibility. So I'll give you my 2 cents on what I think of all that. But before I do, I got to show some love to today's sponsor, Gametime. And the Gametime app is a life changer. It's a game changer for a lot of people out there that enjoy going out on the weekends. For people that enjoy doing stuff, I don't want to say last minute, but it is a great app for the last minute ticket buyers out there. So to me, I'm a busy dude. I don't want to buy a ticket 2 months in advance to just know that I might not be able to go. If you're somebody like me that's like, you know what? I'm not doing anything this weekend. It's Friday night. Let's see what the heck the Gametime app has to offer. Then I want you to download the Gametime app right now. Use code RaidersChat for $20 off. Now, obviously, like terms are going to apply. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code RaidersChat for $20 off your first purchase. So when we were out in Vegas, Chugs got tickets to go watch a comedy event with Tom Segura. When I was out in Las Vegas, I was on the Gametime app constantly like, man, do I get this deal? Do I do that deal? And I didn't get a ticket, and that's sometimes how it's going to be. But the reason why I love this app is because instead of just saying, I would rather just have an empty seat. Nobody would rather have an empty seat. They would rather sell you the ticket for the lowest price guaranteed because they know that you're going to go grab a beer. They know that you're going to get a soda. They know that you're going to get some chicken tenders, maybe some fries. You're going to spend money once you walk into that event. And they know that they'd rather have people in the seat than not have people at all. So I'm telling you right now, it is the perfect app for people out in Las Vegas that just are like, I'm going to play in as much as I humanly can, but if I can't go to an event, it's all good. But if I'm sitting there on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, even if you're Thursday, Wednesday, I mean, I've gotten Mavericks tickets here in Dallas where I have no plans on a random Wednesday. And then guess what? I see a Mavericks tickets for $19. Shit, let's run it. If you're that type of person, then download the Gametime app, use code RaidersChat for $20 off. That link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. All right, let's go to the next player here that was linked to the Las Vegas Raiders. It was Leonard Williams. And I'm not surprised that Leonard Williams was linked to the Silver and Black because to me, in terms of tiers of the big-name defensive tackles, DJ Reader, Leonard Williams are in a tier of their own of they're not Chris Jones, Christian Wilkins, and Justin Madubuike, they're in that different tier of I'm not going to have to pay a DT over $20 million, but I am still going to have to pay quite a bit of money. Now, Leonard was not projected to the Raiders, but he was linked to the Silver and Black, and this is what ESPN had to say. I originally had the Raiders as a possible fit for Williams, given their need at defensive tackle, but with Mike McDonald bringing his defensive system to Seattle, Williams fits better just re-signing there. Williams posted 5.5 sacks, 33 pressures, and 62 tackles this past season, and he has the versatility to disrupt both the run and pass game under McDonald. The Seahawks traded a second rounder and a future fifth rounder for him at the deadline, so they will be motivated to retain his services for at least one more season. Here's my take on that. Like, the Raiders are going to be looking for a big-name defensive tackle, and ESPN knows it, right? On top of that, like, everything that they just mentioned with Seattle, it's 100% true. Like, the number one team that I am willing to bet on that that Leonard Williams ends up going to is Seattle. If he doesn't end up going to Seattle, the next team that I'd put up there is the Raiders. He went to USC. He grew up a Raiders fan. And if you're going to sell anybody on being a Raider, I definitely think that Leonard Williams is absolutely one of those players. So the fact that he was just at least linked gives me a lot of confidence that the Raiders are going to be willing to put it on the table, spend some money, and go get themselves a big DT. But here's my question, because these are the questions that I love to see down in the comments on our live show. Who's the better defensive tackle? Not in general. I don't want to hear the generalization because I don't give a shit about who's the better DT in general. Who's the better defensive tackle right now in the Las Vegas Raiders? If the Raiders sign DJ Reader, if the Raiders sign Leonard Williams, and you put them on the defensive line next to Max Crosby, with Tyree Wilson, with some of our younger DTs filling in, with Malcolm Koonce, who's the guy that you expect more out of? Like, who's the dude that you expect to have a better year? Is it DJ Reader type DR? Is it Leonard Williams type LW? Because when on the field, DJ Reader has produced better, more impressive numbers than Leonard Williams if you're looking for a guy that's willing to take on double teams. If you want a defensive tackle that also has the ability to get after the quarterback better, you're probably looking at Leonard Williams. In terms of the guy that I think would fit better with a Patrick Graham system, I would vote Reader. The guy that I think that has more upside is Leonard Williams. Either way, I would be thrilled about both. Let's go to the next name here that ESPN mentioned. It's Josh Jacobs. And is Jacobs going to be returning to the Silver and Black? Obviously, right now with the franchise tag window open, the Raiders have that decision of whether or not they want to tag their star running back. It goes from February 20th to March 5th. I have said on the show before that I don't personally view that it makes a lot of sense for the Silver and Black to franchise tag Jacobs because I actually think that they could actually get him back in free agency on a cheaper deal. But ESPN projects this, that Jacobs signs with the Dallas Cowboys this offseason. And one of the things that they mention is that they believe that he was a better fit with Mike McCarthy, that offense, than Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard's going to be a free agent. My point is this. All right, let's just say we go down this crazy road of Jacobs doesn't come back to the Raiders. He ends up signing with the Dallas Cowboys because if there's a team that's willing to pay Jacobs maybe that $11.5 million per year, I could see Jerry Jones maybe being one of those people. Producer Coop's shaking his head right now, and he's a Cowboys fan, but he also knows, like, this doesn't make a lot of sense for Dallas here. It doesn't make a lot of sense for a lot of NFL teams to pay a running back the amount of money of, like, $11.5, $12 million per season, though that's what ESPN projects. To me, I'm looking at it like this. If Jacobs goes elsewhere, well, then the Raiders need another plan because Amir Abdullah, Josh Jacobs, Jakob Johnson, they're all going to be gone. Like, you cannot go into next season with only Zamir White, Brandon Bolden, and Sincere McCormick. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of hope for Zamir White and Sincere McCormick. If it's up to me, I'm cutting Brandon Bolden's ass. So that means you have two running backs on your roster. That means to me, not only are you going to have to draft one, you're also probably going to have to sign one on top of that. And with the Raiders running back coach in Cadillac Williams, based off of what he did at Auburn, he likes to go with that running back by committee. So could you invest your money in other places? Yes, absolutely. Out of the names here on this list, there's only a few that I really realistically think that make sense, like an A.J. Dillon, a DeAndre Swift, a Devin Singletary, maybe even a guy like Austin Ekeler. Like, to me, if the Raiders miss out on Jacobs, it's because they went cheap. And when I say they went cheap, it just means they weren't willing to offer him as much money because Jacobs wants to return here. So if you're not willing to offer that money, you're not going to get a Derrick Henry. You're not going to get a Tony Pollard. You're not going to get a Saquon Barkley. Hell, you might not even get an Austin Ekeler at those price tags, which then also means then you got to turn your attention to the running backs in the draft. And I do believe that the Silver and Black end up getting at least one running back in this year's draft. I don't know who it's going to be necessarily. I know that the Raiders like Marshawn Lloyd because he was a winner at the Senior Bowl. I know for a fact that the Raiders are very high on Ray Davis from Kentucky. He's a name to keep in mind. There's a lot of running back talent out there, and at the end of the day, if I'm going to invest my picks, maybe let's just say your 5th round pick, your 4th round pick, your 6th round pick, and a running back, I don't think that's a bad investment at all compared to paying a running back all this top money because you're going to have to pay an RB. You're not going to pay him a lot, but we've also seen it doesn't matter as much as having a great running back. You need to have great offensive line. You have great pieces all around him. So I'll tell you which running back that I believe if, let's just say Las Vegas, wanted to allocate their money to the running back position, and they missed out on Josh Jacobs. So you have, let's say, this money that you were willing to allocate to Jacobs. If you missed out on a running back, I'll tell you which player in free agency is the most likely to take that money and they send it to. Before I tell you who that is, if you don't know our programming schedule, I'm going to be live on Thursday, Friday, and Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. So if you missed our live show, I know I was gone for a whole week for vacation, but I promise you this, I'm going to be back better than ever, so hit that subscribe button. So the number one player that I believe is the most likely to sign with the Raiders, if the Raiders wanted to spend money on Jacobs, but he just got a better and bigger deal somewhere else, and let's say the Raiders were willing to spend, I don't know, $7, $8, $9 million on a running back, and they go, you know what? We didn't get Jacobs, so who's going to be the guy we go out and get? His name is Austin Ekeler, and according to ESPN, the top 3 destinations for Ekeler, all in the AFC West, Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders. If you think that for a second, if you're the Raiders, you go, I don't want him to go to the Chiefs. I don't think it's a good fit with the Chiefs. I don't think he's going to go back to the Chargers personally. And then with his relationship with Tom Telesco, the Raiders do make a lot of sense. So if the Raiders don't end up bringing back Jacobs, Ekeler to me is their top target if they do plan on spending big at the running back position. Ekeler and Telesco have that good relationship. Ekeler was a UDFA and got a lot of work there with the Chargers, ended up making a hell of a career, and he fits really well with the Raiders running back coach and Carnell Williams because Carnell's going to want to get the running backs implemented in the passing game, which is exactly what Ekeler has the ability to do. I am curious to see how he fits in a power run scheme because that's kind of what the Raiders offensive line coach Craig does, and even like a guy like Luke Getsy ends up doing. But if you're able to pair Ekeler and Zamir White, to me, that's a really good pairing at the running back position. So my question out there is this. Should the Raiders sign Austin Ekeler? Give me a yes, or I want you to type your N for no. And there's a lot of different ways that you can answer this question. Hell, there's going to be a lot of different ways that I answer this question. And Ekeler's been a name that I have brought up before, but Ekeler was also a dude that I talked to at the media day during the Super Bowl. And I was like, bro, do you want to come to the Las Vegas Raiders? And his answer was simple. I don't remember exactly what he told me, but it was along the lines of, it depends what the paycheck is. And that's basically what every single running back is going to tell you. So for me personally, if the Raiders want to spend money on a running back and miss on Josh Jacobs, putting that money towards Ekeler is not a bad idea. Like, if you told me right now, we got to put $7 million a year towards Austin Ekeler, or $12 million towards Josh Jacobs, I'll tell you right now, I'll take Austin Ekeler on that deal compared to Jacobs. And it's not because I don't like Jacobs, because Ekeler can also run between the tackles. He also catch the football. Yeah, he's battled some injuries here and there, but so is Jacobs. So in terms of the projected contract, PFF has him at 2 years, $13.5 million, so $6.75 million per year. Spotrac has him at 3 years, $22.4 million at $7.4 million a year. I would say out of the more likely contracts, it's the PFF one. I just don't see in today's day and age a running back getting a 3-year deal. And it's not because maybe they don't deserve it. It's just because of what the market currently is. So if you told me right now, Mitch, Austin Ekeler, 2 years, $13.5 million, I'd say sign me up for that every day of the week. All right, so should the Raiders sign Austin Ekeler? Give me a yes or give me a no. I see Raider Kev said I'd rather pay Henry. My question to you, would you rather pay, because to me, Derrick Henry, if there's any running back this offseason that gets $10 million plus, it's Derrick Henry.
Yeah, probably. Look, I think I would pay Josh Jacobs over Austin Ekeler.
Austin Ekeler?
I like Josh Jacobs better than Austin Ekeler personally, and I would
I
keep
do
him,
too. I guess my question is if it's Jacobs at 11 million or Austin Ekeler at, let's say, 6.5.
Yeah, it's probably Ekeler in that case.
Like, to me, Jacobs fits better on a team that is a running back away. Like, if you're an NFL team that you're a running back away and you can invest 11 million, because my other part of my conversation with Jacobs is the Raiders, out of their 3 out of their 5 starting offensive linemen, they're free agents. Like, if it was up to me, and this is solely based on allocating money, like, I would rather allocate that money towards the offensive line. Like, I would rather allocate the money to the offensive line and not sign a running back. Like, I would say, if you want to sign a back, go sign a dude like, I don't know, like an A.J. Dillon. Maybe he gets $4 million a year.
Yeah, I can see that,
and then you
too.
draft a running back. Like, if you told me Jonathan Brooks or Jonathan Brooks in the 3rd round or Josh Jacobs at $11 million per year, I'm taking Jonathan Brooks every single day.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's more based off of where the Raiders are at, and not every single team is in that same position.
Now, do you think that Jacobs would be open to re-signing with the Raiders if the money was right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think Jacobs is already open to the idea, but he does want to get paid. Like,
absolutely, that's what they all want.
He wants a 3-year deal, I would say.
Okay.
And that's a tough ask in today's running back market. Tough ask. Like, you're not getting a 3-year, $40 million contract as a running back.
No question.
You're not getting, even like 3 years, $30 million. I don't see a single running back getting that.
And his franchise tag is what, 11-ish million?
11.3.
Yeah, that'd be a tough give to Jacobs if you're the Raiders.
Coming off
sure.
his career worst year.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
No doubt.
What up, Crash Dog? Happy birthday, brother.
Yes,
Crash
sir.
Dog. Cheers to you. I greatly appreciate it, man. We've had a lot of good times here on this show. And anytime it's the birthday, which coming back from vacation, I knew today's show was going to be kind of wild. On top of it being the birthday,
absolutely,
definitely a little bit different. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all very much. Crash Dog, cheers to you, man.
Crash Dog. Let's go.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you guys one more final call to get in our 50-50 raffle.
Do we need to do that thing?
We're going to do it after the 50-50.
Okay.
So, Misty Williams, you in?
You in.
For our 50-50 raffle. So here's going to be our final call to $20 Venmo. If you want to put that up on screen.
Yes, sir.
$20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365 for a chance to get in. Right now, we have 22 names in. And a lot of them are Lillian, Cameron Abbott, and Jamari Murray are the top names in this. So 22 people in, which means we're going to get $220. And when I say final call, I mean final call.
I mean it.
So I'm going to send you all the names here real quick. I'm going to send them to you on TV.
Yep.
And then you can put them in any duck race that you want. So you put them in, and then any new names that I get, I will send them your way.
Perfect.
So here's what's going to happen. We're going to do this duck race, and then Cameron Abbott really F things up here. And I say that in the nicest way possible. Cameron's about to get this show turned up. And basically today, every single time somebody bangs, it counts as 2. And I wanted to make a special birthday deal. So because of that, Cameron Abbott, Urza, they have really climbed the leaderboard on our February bang race, which has been held by Triban and Justin Abgen. But I do see a few more people now trying to get in here to this race. So I'm going to refresh my phone one more time. I see Justine Gonzalez, you in? And then L.A. Crash Dog, you in. What up, John? Ekeler or A.J. Dillon? I think it depends what you're looking for. I think for the Raiders, personally, Eckler's actually the better fit because you already have Zamir White. If you weren't looking for a bruising back, if you're looking for a bruising back, it's A.J. Dillon. If you're looking for a running back that fits better in a Cadillac Williams system, who's our new running back coach, who really implemented, getting the running backs involved in the passing game at Auburn.
No doubt.
I'll admit that could be because the running backs were the best athletes and the quarterback wasn't all that great at Auburn, so they did what they did. But if I'm going to go based off of running back by committee, Ekeler and Zamir White to me is a better fit than A.J. Dillon and Zamir because you still don't have a back that I'm confident that can actually catch the football. pass block. We'll see what ends up happening, but Ekeler will be. I would project Ekeler is $3 million a year more than what AJ Dillon is.
That sounds about right.
I think Dillon gets probably like $4 or $5 million per year, and I think Ekeler ends up getting like 7 to 8. That would be my projection for both of those guys. All right, we got. Holy crap!
Couple more.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting show. Finesse.
Gonna be an interesting show.
Finesse Lounge, you in. Cameron Abbott, you in again. Stephen Corbel, you in as well. I'll tell you what. So the last name that I gave you was Misty Williamson, correct?
Yes. Misty Williams or Misty Williamson?
Same. Sorry. I'm going to send you some more names here.
Okay.
So that puts us up now at winner would get, I believe, if my math is mathing, winner now gets $270. Winner gets $270. Stephen Corbel, happy birthday, Mitch from the Corbs. Hell of a time at the Ahern. $20 for the raffle. So I actually had the opportunity to meet Corbel at our Super Bowl watch party, which he was actually the first Raider fan that I met at Ahern Hotel. He came up to me, dapped me up, was super excited to be there, and he flew in. I forget where you guys flew in from, Steve, but he told me he flew in, and then he ended up winning our 50-50.
Oh, that's dope.
He was like, bro, it just paid for my flight.
That's awesome. That's sick.
What up, Common? Aloha.
Howoli Lahanu. Happy birthday, Mitch.
Hey, man. I think that means happy birthday from Common.
Shout out to Common.
Bonjour. Sean, next up, happy birthday, Mitch. Great to have you back, and a cheers. Sean, honestly, dude, it's great to be back.
Like, the nation missed you.
I miss the nation. I mean, it's one of those things where you do the same thing over and over and over again, right? Like, I'm just so used to doing Raiders videos, going live, and when you don't do it, I was kind of worried. I was like, would I be stale? Like, would I, just like anything in life, the more and more you do it, the better and better at it you get. So, Sean, cheers to you, man.
Shout out, Sean.
All right. Jamari, last one that I see, and then Steve OK. So, this is going to be it. Steve OK, you in. Jamari, you in. And then I see another one coming in from Amy, you in. So that means we got 30 people in this race. Winner gets 300. I'm not taking any more 50-50 offers. I'm not taking any more 50-50 offers.
No more.
No more. Anything else that comes in, that just goes to Chuck's fund of helping him get to Barkley.
What is that?
College fund. Barkley.
I'm dead. All right.
We got high hopes.
How long do we do this for?
1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute duck race. You can pick any duck race you want.
Okay, I'm just doing the one that Chug said here.
Okay, sounds good.
It looks like a duck race.
It looks like a duck race. All right, so to the 532 people watching right now, here's what's going to happen. We're going to do a duck race. The winner of this duck race ends up winning $300, okay? And then after that, I hope you all ready to turn up because Cameron Abbott has done some wild shit.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we might have to call in some troops.
It's that bad.
It's more than I anticipated. Let's just say that.
Okay.
It's more than I anticipated.
You count us down.
All right, winner gets $300 starting in 3, 2, go!
They're off.
And look who's in the lead. Mr. Cameron Abbott, followed by Anthony Green. At the very, very top, though, watch out for Andres Montano in the middle. So here are the Ducks in this race. We got Luis Rodriguez, Cameron Abbott, Randall Carter. Jamari Murray's got like 3 or 4. Lillian, she's got like 6. Jose Corona, Andres. We got Misty Williams, Justin Gonzalez, Crash Dog, Finesse Lounge, Cameron,
halfway there.
Stephen OK, Jamari, Amy, Trivan, all in this race. I believe Abbott right now at the lead. Watch out for Misty down there at the very, very bottom. 20 seconds to go.
Anthony Green, I got my eye on him.
Winner gets 300 doll hairs. You see Jose up here creeping up. Jose's like somewhere around here. He's creeping up a little bit. 10 seconds to go. Who's pulling up right here? Alvarado. Is it going to be Alvarado? Lillian from behind.
Alvarado!
Lillian comes all the way back. I mean, what a comeback.
That's electric.
I also think that this might be Lillian's first time entering a race. I could be wrong on this. It is. Lillian entered the race, and she is the winner. Lillian, I need you to confirm that you just won $300 here on the Raiders Report. Urza says, it's my sister. Urza, then message your sister, just confirm that I sent it. Raider Nation today, what up, Hammer? Happy birthday, Mitch, and many more. Raiders! So my guy, Taino Raider, who sent me this jersey, he also sent Hammer one.
I love it.
So him and I, we have... Hammer, does yours look like mine?
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa. Does it look the same, Hammer? I'm curious. I'm not going to lie.
Are you going to show his hammer?
I mean, I'll show you mine. I'll show you the whole thing if you show me yours.
That's wild. Shout out, 31 years old today, Mitchell Renz, 365.
Raider Nation says, actually it does. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, this thing is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I actually like the idea of trying to get, like, Raiders, like patches, because it's one of the things that a lot of Raider fans save. I actually have probably, like, 30 Raiders patches of my own. I keep them in, like, a box.
Make another jersey yourself?
Be kind of cool. I can't sew, though. I can't sew. Urza says, yes, confirmed. Thank you. Perfect. Love to see it. All right. Are you guys ready? Y for yes, N for no, to get this thing turned into a shit show?
I don't know if I'm ready.
Dude, I don't think I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready. I'll tell you that right now. It's about to get a little spicy, Coop.
All right, I'm in for spicy.
It's about to get spicy. So are you guys ready? You want me to send it to TV or?
No, me.
I actually just typed in Jeremy. My bad. All right, so it's that
We're both
name.
Jewish, I get it.
It's that name, but it's that.
Okay.
All right, you guys ready to get a little bit spicy up in here? All right, my question to you is, oh boy, you got one in you.
One what?
Beer bong.
Yeah. No doubt.
Marsh, you got a beer bong in you. Marshall said he's got a beer bong in him.
Who else is out there?
Seeps, you got a beer bong in you. I got a thumbs up.
That's 3. That's 4.
Cullen, you got a beer bong in you. Cullen looks like he's got a beer bong
Cullen's
in him.
got a beer bong in him.
Cullen's got a beer
He
bong.
has to drive like an hour after this, though.
All right, I think that's enough.
Yeah, it should be good.
This one's rolling in from Cameron Abbott. Cameron Abbott. Let's go!
Let's go!
You want a shout out here on the Raiders Report? Spam Cameron Abbott. Right now I see Ron Raspberry, Urza, Sienna, Rebel, Yoda, Ron, Rudy, Marquise, Cameron. Let's freaking go. Which, because of the deal that we made today, our brand new leader for February is Cameron.
Cameron!
Yo,
Let's go,
Cameron
baby.
Abbott. All right, so we're going to knock back some beer bongs here.
I'm in.
We're
Do
gonna
you have
knock back
another one over there, or do I need to go grab one?
I got this one. I took literally a sip out of it.
Okay.
Literally a sip out of it.
Literally.
All right, so I'll
go get an apparatus.
I need Marsh, Seeps, and the guy that people refer to as an animal.
I'll get him.
I need Cullen. Though Seeps might have to put on a different shirt. Cullen might have to put on a different shirt. He did? All right. I think if you were to do this to Seeps, he would be Cullen. If we put Seeps in a smush machine, he would be Cullen. With that. Look at that. It's the exact same thing. He's got what? You got those? What is that? Oh, you guys are racing? Yeah. Shot fun races. Cameron Abbott was balling.
Is Rebel here?
Rebel's been here. Rebel's been here.
Is Rebel still here?
Oh.
As in, is his throw up still on you?
I'm not going to lie. I took that to Paris. That shit was everywhere. All right, so are you guys already locked and loaded in there?
Locked and loaded.
All right, so that's for you. I'll open up this bad boy. All right. If you want to, you want to push this full screen. All right, so everybody's got a happy dad. And they have a drink.
How about the smoke, you fools?
Dude, I don't know. Dude,
This is pretty cool.
Dude, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I might sleep in this.
What do you feel about this guy? I guess there's this one in Vegas. That's kind of there.
Well, no, so when the first year that they were in Vegas, they put a number 20 jersey on the Statue of Liberty, and everybody was like, oh, that's Damon Arnett. I was like, no.
Damon Arnett does not get that treatment.
Damon Arnett is a fool. All right. Who you guys got? If you're going to go with Coop, type the J. You know why? Seeps, type S. Marsh, type M. If you're going to go me, type R. If you're going to go Colin, type C. Ready? Cameron Abbott, you're a legend. Here we go. Did anybody just see him do that?
Oh my God!
Did he crush that?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of hard right now. That was unbelievable.
I think he might be able to take chugs once he gets a little boot practice.
Dude, I'll tell you what. Let's get him in the boot combine. That was unbelievable.
That was crazy.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It was literally like gone.
Yeah.
That was nuts. That was.
I don't know what I just saw.
That was impressive. That was impressive. I don't lose that often in beer bong chugs. At this office, I do. That was impressive.
That's incredible. We found his new talent.
I think we have Jeremy Chugs, and then we have bongs.
I don't get it.
Well, bongs.
I get it.
Oh, man. That was absolutely electric.
Cameron Abbott.
Man. Dude, Cameron Abbott. What a freaking legend, man. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to stay live for another few minutes. If you guys have any other questions, comments to get going, hashtag Raiders, or you can super chat to get those questions on the show. But man, oh man, oh man. Today's been a lot of fun. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for always tuning in to my birthday, tuning into the show every single Tuesday, which was kind of weird last week. Since I started the show back in 2018, it was the first Tuesday I was never live for.
This last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday was the first time I wasn't live on a Tuesday since 2018.
That is crazy.
It was weird. I mean, I plan my life around Tuesday live because it's been the one day that we've been live every single time. And man, oh man, it's been crazy. Rebel said, when's the rematch for Marsh? I don't know when you're going to get that one. Psycho, new hire. Yes, Cullen is one of the new guys that we hired here at Chat Sports. Probably what, like month and a half?
Yeah,
at this point?
6-ish weeks.
6-ish weeks. Going on 2 months now. But Sienna said, great show. I appreciate the hell out of that. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get the heck out of here. The next time that you guys are going to see me live is going to be on Thursday. Shout out to Coop for stepping up for Chugs. Remember, Chugs is going to be away for about a week. He's getting married.
Getting married.
Get married. That's wild.
I can't believe it.
Dude, Mr. and Mrs. Chugs, congratulations. So from me, from Coop, from everybody out there. I appreciate you guys for always tuning in to the show. Cameron, Urza, shout out to both y'all, both MVPs today for making today's show a little bit sloppy in all the right ways. Appreciate you guys. So peace out. Rebel says Venmo. I'll look. Holy shit. Well, can we get help?
How much help?
I'm going to need some help.
The same amount of help?
Probably about the same amount of help.
Oh boy.
If I could get some help, that would be actually, I'll tell you this though, I'm going to do a boot.
Okay.
I'm going to do a boot.
I'll go fill you up a boot.
Yeah, I'm going to need a boot. So, how about this? I'll go fill up the boot. I'll go take a leak because I got to take a leak.
Okay.
You hold down the fort. You ask a question. When I get back, we're going to get some beer bongs. I'm going to do a boot. And then this might be a little bit nuts.
Okay.
All right. Give me a sec here.
Mitch will be back. Mitch will be back in one moment. Should the Raiders sign Austin Ekeler? Let me know down in the comments. Rebel, you saved us. We almost had to go home to our families. Let's go. Oh, not Rebel. Okay, I apologize. We will go see some. We will go see. I don't even know yet. Mitch hasn't even told me. Raider Sancho says no. Ninja Gaming, yes. Oh, man. Nah. Yeah, it's pretty mixed reaction so far. Pretty mixed reaction. We'll see what happens. Could go Josh Jacobs. Could go draft like a guy like Jonathan Brooks. Could go Austin Ekeler. Free agency is coming up in 2-ish weeks. 3-ish weeks. Sienna says no. I kind of agree. Like, in my opinion, at least, Austin Ekeler is not like the kind of back that the Raiders need. I'm not a huge fan. Ninja says yes and trade Jacobs for top 5 pick in the draft. Well, Jacobs is a free agent, so unless they franchise tag him, they cannot trade him. They cannot trade him unless they franchise tag him. Yeah, I'm holding down the fort. You? Chugs left.
Not a medical emergency.
Not a medical emergency.
So he walked off under.
He walked off under his own power.
No stretch.
He's getting married. I don't know if you knew this.
Today.
Not today, but he is leaving to go get married soon.
Today.
Maybe.
Really?
I really don't know.
No, I didn't know because I didn't get invited to the wedding.
Yeah, me neither. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if Mitch told you this, but we're going to need some more help.
Yeah, no, I got one more in me. That's
Okay.
Like,
Marsh said he has one more in him. Rebel, Marsh is here, just so you
I'm
know.
going for a run after work. I can't just go totally fucked.
Going for a run?
Yeah.
Who are you? Marsh isn't going for a run. That's BS.
I am.
No way. Ninja, I believe we are going to be doing that here momentarily. He said congratulations, Chuck, for getting married. It was Chugs, not Chuck. Mitch's dog is not getting married. How do you feel about this from Sean, Marsh?
What's up, Sean?
8 mil for Jacobs, 6 mil for Ekeler. Get both.
Oh, so
Instead of potentially, spending $6 million on a running back, we want to
14.
spend $14 million.
That's correct.
I don't think that's a very good idea.
You need the boot.
You need the boot. My man Rebel Montana, what's up, Brody?
Rebel.
Rebel Montana. Rebel, can't
Rebel
you
Montana.
see? You threw up
Rebel
all over
Montana.
Mitch's sleeve. Rebel, can't you see? You threw up all over Mitch's sleeve.
Rebel, I heard you had fun at Super Bowl, man.
Rebel says, enjoy Daniel Jones. I tried doing that. I'm not doing it anymore.
all right, I got one more in me.
You're good.
Marsh is good.
You're good. You're okay.
I'll do it anyway.
You're going to do it anyway?
I'll do it anyways.
All right, so try.
Did you hear, Mitch, by the way, did you hear Marsh is going on a
Jesus
run?
Christ. This is not going to be good.
No way.
Do we need more help?
I mean, you can look. We are. We're gonna need more help.
Will you send me what's going on? Oh, okay, I got
This
it.
one is for Rebel Montana.
Not quite yet.
No?
No.
No, hang on.
Who
I sent you the
One
first
moment.
one.
Yeah, I got it.
Who can I do this for?
You are doing it for this person.
I'm just telling you right now. This is not. This is something here. This is not good. It's good, but it's gonna be bad.
It's good now. Tomorrow morning, it may not be good.
Oh Christ. All right, we're gonna do. You got one in you? Let's go. Go get one. You guys, let's go.
I'm in on this.
Yeah, we need help.
All right,
Do we want to do this?
we're gonna do this.
Are
Yeah.
you? Do you need the thing?
Can I do it?
What's the thing? Oh yeah, I do need the thing. You want to do it?
Yeah.
All right, you want to do it?
How about seat holds and I swing?
All right, come here. You hold this.
Hang on.
Guys, sometimes this is what happens here. All right, this gets off the rocker here a little bit. This one's rolling in from Driven. What is that?
That was horrible.
I think there's something wrong with
Hold
the
it.
holding mechanism.
Hold it. Driven.
Bang!
Pretty damn hard.
Now,
He was
see,
betting
you
one
gotta. All right, think about your best finger. Put it on that.
Your best finger.
All right, you stay right there. You stay right there. You stay right there. Does anybody have a beer bong in them?
Yes.
All right, Coop.
Jonesy.
Jonesy, let's go.
Coop has a beer bong in him.
Jonesy, grab a beer bong.
Okay.
Grab a beer bong.
There's some by the pickles.
The pickles.
No cheese pizza. No cheese pizza. I did not forget my debit card.
Oh, man. All right, so Coop's got that. He's got that. Colin, just give me a minute. I'm going to need you in a minute.
Pardon me, Steve.
I'll tell you this.
This one's for Trivan.
This one's for Trivan. Trivan was one of our MVPs on our show during the Super Bowl. We got to wait for Jonesy.
Trivan was the one that paid
All the drinks.
$500 for everybody.
Yeah.
Legend.
Which, again, when we got 100, people got free drinks.
Oh, I know.
When Trivan dropped to 500,
Everyone.
dude, everyone was like, what the F is going on here?
Jonesy, slide in, brother.
I don't know if Jonesy slid into anything.
What I think I'm seeing on there?
Oh, yeah, this is going to be. All right, Trivan, you're an absolute legend.
Is that a Bud Light?
Bud Latte? Miller Latte?
This is Chief's favorite beer.
That's muscle milk, pretty much.
Muscle milk.
I think it's got 4 grams of protein.
4 grams of protein. Imagine after a workout, you slam down a Miller Lite. It does have protein.
Carb to protein ratio.
All right.
I think Rolly calls those macros.
All right, y'all. Cheers to Trivan. Let's go.
What a day! Hey, don't forget your water.
It's important to stay hydrated. It's really important to stay hydrated. And there's sometimes this show, it always amazes me, man. I'm not even shitting you when I tell you, it always amazes me. And I want y'all right now to spam Trivan. And I want each and every one of y'all to spam Cameron Abbott because Cameron Abbott wants a boot race. And damn it, Cameron Abbott is going to get himself a boot race between me and the people that we call Cullen. Cameron Abbott! Cameron Abbott! Let's go,
Let's
Cameron!
ride. All right.
Today's MVP, and I'll tell you what, man. Cameron today is on a whole other level. I mean, what Cameron has done today is now put himself as the clear leader of the bang race. The only person that's close to him is actually Trivan. So that means Trivan now would be up to 20 bangs for February. Cameron is now up to 28.
Oh, boy.
But today alone, he's got 12. Remember, they're doubled today. It's my birthday. So 24 bangs today, Cameron got. I mean, that's
a lot.
Absolutely insane. Trivan's got the thinking face, which is scaring the hell out of me.
Oh, no.
All right.
You and the guy we call an animal?
The Cullen.
Let's go.
But Cullen.
Cullen!
All right, so you did the beer bong, Cullen, and everybody wanted you back. Everybody wanted them back. So what I want you to do, I know you've been on here before. Quick rundown, what you do here, who you are. Give us a little background story.
My name's Cullen, and I like to drink.
Pretty much, yeah. My name's Cullen, producer here at Chat Sports. Love to drink. We're about to do this boot race here. And, yeah, happy birthday to you, brother. What do you got? Got a little boot here. I went with Coors.
Coors Latte.
Coors. Coors Latte.
Oh, man.
So, should be a good one. I'll get this back to you.
So, who you... all right, Cullen's
you
got?
got?
Cullen's got a bigger head than I do.
Definitely.
Giggity.
Whoa.
So who you got? Type C for Cullen, which is kind of perfect because we usually do C for Chugs. C for Cullen, M for me. How many boots have you done here? He's done like 5 boots. The way that you did that beer bong, I'm a little bit nervous. What's like your normal time for a boot?
I'd say, remember when we did it the first week I was here? It's about that time. So whatever that was. Very first week I was here.
I don't remember.
Probably like...
No way.
10-second boot, Cullen saying.
No way.
10 seconds.
I'll tell you what, you're getting a lot of C's right now. You're getting a lot of C's.
So what you're saying is he's faster than Jeremy Chugs.
He's not faster than Chugs.
Okay.
Which,
Okay.
I'm not going to lie, what's funny was at the Super Bowl when we did the party, like, we also had some people that didn't watch the show that were there. We were like, this guy's going to do a boot in 6 seconds. And everyone's like, no freaking way. And I mean, it was unbelievable. Lord Cameron says, sorry, Mitch. I have to go see. I'll tell you this right now. I'm going to push it. I'm going to push it. I'm not saying it's going to be pretty. I'm not going to pull a rebel, but I'm going to push it here. All right, y'all. I think after this boot is going to be the last thing that we do on today's show. I also had family dinner with Alex's family at 6:30. I might be a little late.
Do you know what time it is?
Yep, I'm going to be a little late.
You ready? I got the timer ready to go.
Cullen, the nation's rooting for you.
But Cullen.
The nation's rooting for you. All right, so I got a Davidson milkshake, 3. That's 3 Bud Lights. You got 3 Coors. Coors Light. Is it Coors or Coors?
Coors.
Coors everything. All right, you ready?
Let's do it. Oh my god, dude, he is devouring this! No way!
Oh my God! Booze!
I don't believe what I just saw. 10.8.
10.8
Little sloppy.
Are you shitting me?
I can't even breathe. I tried to do it as quick as I could. I'll tell you what, man.
He's him.
We got to get him in the combine against Chugs.
Yeah.
We got to get him against Chugs. Because he even did it like the gangster way, like sideways boot. You know what I mean?
It's incredible.
It was like sideways boot action. That was incredible.
Das Boot for Das Moose.
I'll tell you what, man. That was good.
Legendary.
I can't believe this.
I'll tell you what, if we would have hired him 3 years earlier, he'd be Chugs. He'd be Chugs. Yo, everyone right now give a shout out to Colin
Shout
for
out
pulling
Colin
up,
in the
man.
chat.
That was insane. I don't like losing, but I'll lose to that.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Dude, that was
Jesus.
I wasn't even at the bubble yet, and I realized I lost.
He devoured that thing. I thought you were joking.
Dude, that was impressive.
Yeah, no doubt.
That was like Mia Khalifa on a virgin. Devoured it. No?
Who's that?
You don't know who that is. Come on.
Never heard of her.
Never heard of her. Liar. Shout out to Cullen for pulling up here on the Raiders Report. Shout out to Cameron Abbott. Freaking Tri-Van man.
Shout out.
I think there's one thing that we got to do. We got to say goodbye. So here's the thing. I will be back on Thursday. I will be back on Friday. And appreciate each and every one of y'all for always pulling up here on the show. We will have to do a Chugs versus Cullen boot race
No
at
doubt
some
about it.
point. Chugs is still going to win based on the 10.3 time. But if Cullen can clean it up a little bit, he's got a realistic shot. I just want to say thank you to everyone out there. As y'all can tell, I am cooked. I got to go. Hell of a show. Had a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys. It's good to be back. So from me, from Coop, from Chugs, have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys Thursday live here on the Raiders.